Hello everyone and welcome back to Tabletop Fables and episode 10 of Dogs of M.E.R.C.Y.
Wow.
I'm DM Cody and we are going to go around and introduce ourselves, starting from the Professor.
Hi, I am Professor Belvedere Montbank. Today I have a question and perhaps chat can help me. Is milk an object?
Let's derail all over again.
Oh boy.
Immediately.
I've been slept, I've regained my arcane energy, I've changed accent apparently.
All of a sudden.
And now I need to do some research onto vampires,
Neat.
including how to pronounce them.
Vampires.
Yes.
I'm playing Raz, a little Air Genasi rogue, who at this point should be adventurer extraordinaire, but really isn't.
Why not?
For many reasons.
Same reason your dog probably isn't either.
Jeez, yeah, probably.
Good old Duke.
How is old Duke doing?
You haven't bothered to check. You
Well,
What's the over he has?
how old was Duke when they left 10 years ago?
10 years ago when they left, probably 6.
Yeah, Buddy's probably gone as well at this point.
Yeah,
You might be surprised.
I might be surprised. Something life support magic. Just tattooed on them.
eggs.
Ah, yes.
Rhymes with. Never mind. Moving on. Hello everyone. My name is Matthew, and I am Smoke. And I play. Wait. Oh no. Kind of did that bit already. I'm a Tabashi nature cleric, and I'm just focused on spreading the word of Elgath and converting as many as I can. And currently, one of my most important goals is to construct a tubing that goes from my mouth into my hat that's full of milk, so I can just be, feeling pretty blissful all day, every day.
Forgot all about that.
Did you forget how many people we actually converted to Eldath last game?
It's like an entire crowd.
a
Yeah.
fair chunk of them.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Hashtag Team Talk.
What we need in this moment, pacifists.
In this time of war.
In this hour.
I got you, buddy.
Well, going from one cleric to another, in a very different sort, I am playing Clarimond Brenador, a human trickery cleric of the Traveller, so very anti-organised religion in comparison, and is currently dealing with the bureaucracy of returning to Baldur's Gate and dealing with having now a manor.
Alright, so last game we left you all getting ready to go vampire hunting. You were all well rested, ready for the journey, but still at the manor. What is everyone up to?
Smoke would be practicing his vampire slaying steak motions. Just doing that in front of the mirror.
I would like to.
Do we even have a mirror?
Oh, that reminds me of that one Buffy game.
I would like to minor illusion some sound effects of some really screechy short violins.
Why? Why?
You know what I love? You know what I love, Professor?
Fourth wall breaking horror movie references. Apparently. Feeling the angst of the moment, Raz is going to get out the Shadakai studded leather armor from the backpack, which, if I remember correctly, still has the gore from its throat over the neckline. So mind that.
We're going edgelord today.
No. It's intimidating. I
Reverse prestidigitate.
precipitate some blood.
Mending.
Control Z, Control Z.
Mm-hmm. But if I've got my mechanics correct, that buffs my armor class by 1.
Nice.
So that I can have 14 instead of 13.
Untouchable.
I'll get stabbed slightly less.
Slightly. Let's hope.
Oh god.
Smoke would be outside, working on a grove.
Yep.
For Eldath.
Oh yes.
So in the back, it would be northeast corner. You find there is a pretty nice area. There's a bit of a pond there that's natural. It's very overgrown, but if you start clearing it, planting some new plants in there and create a virtual utopia.
Excellent.
Some time.
Yeah, of course. Smoke will be druid crafting.
Yeah.
All the time and seeing what he can come up with.
So I'll be in the library with a candlestick. No, I'll be in the library. I've attuned to the Pearl of Power, just as a housekeeping thing. Thanks for people for giving it to me. I'm now sitting there with a scroll out, just making some notes, trying to come up with some research.
Yep. When you say library, you're talking the Branded Library?
The Brennador Library, the empty one, but it feels like it's the right place.
Yeah, cool. What's Clary doing?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Probably at this point, playing around with a scimitar, still getting used to the balance of it, because she's still getting there in terms of using an actual sword, rather than just the spiritual one. But otherwise, mostly exploring her old house and trying not to cringe from all the familial memories.
So many ghosts.
So many ghosts in this place.
Real
And probably
Fables.
also resting.
Yep.
Long rest, please.
Well, you'd all had a long rest. It's now nightfall, probably around 9 o'clock at night.
I remember it being far later than that
Yeah.
because we went to bed at night.
Oh, no, sorry, you did.
Yeah, it was like it's like
so
2 a.m.
in the
something
morning.
ridiculous.
The wee hours in the morning,
Yeah.
probably around midnight.
Yeah.
I sort of summon everyone by putting a little note on Paige's collar and sending her around to collect
that's
everyone
adorable.
till they come to the library.
Alright, head on down to the library.
Thank you, everyone. You do still in your grave, or
Smoke. Yeah, Smoke follows Paige and goes to talk to it again, but then thinks not better of it.
thank you all for coming here. I have to accuse one of you of murder. Sorry.
We all did it.
Smoke especially.
But we, sorry, that feels appropriate. We are planning to kill a very intelligent and powerful creature. I was hoping any of us would have insights on how to go about this.
Well, I'm the one who hasn't actually met it, since you are all the ones that released it in the first place. So I believe I'm not really the one to take the lead on this one.
It was
but
mainly that robot.
Well,
The robot was very much in. Okay.
insight check.
I have a charisma of low. He was very much in favour of killing it.
I was thinking, well, I know the peasants and various folks have had to deal with vampires across the tide. I was wondering if you could help me out, try to perhaps sift through some of their stories and work out maybe how they've gone about it in the past.
Certainly, I think research might be a good idea. Also, if we're talking about dealing with evil beings, perhaps that Church Fullface, there were quite a few paladins there, and perhaps we could seek their assistance or at least guidance.
Something for the glory of Tyr, yes.
Oh god, are we going to get shiny again?
He's helped us before.
True.
Partner, are you accusing us of being peasants?
Well, it's not an accusation, it's quite a worthy life. Without them, we would not be able to eat.
But also, we weren't born noble, so it's also the truth.
Technically, I'm married into it.
You're married?
Well, widowed, but that's irrelevant. A widowed.
We're going to put a pin in that. That's a discussion for later.
That's another one to unpack. Dramatic backstory.
But yes, it's generally that's the people that they prey on when not in the city. But there's plenty of stories I've heard. Maybe perhaps people had heard others.
Well, perhaps I could offer myself as bait. I am a peasant, therefore it will come and try to eat me.
We can sort out the planning for actually hunting it after we've done the research.
I
That
thought
sounds
perhaps
like
I
a
could
good plan.
roll a history check.
Yeah, I'll also roll.
You can roll. I'll assist.
Do you want? I'll roll also. Would a religion also be helpful? Because I've got high
Or
religion.
what was the question?
Well, I'm just asking, peasant stories and stuff about what do you do?
Whereas
About vampires.
Water or
more.
Garlic.
Let's roll an insight check.
And
Whoever's
Smoke
trained that can roll.
will give guidance.
Oh, trained in insight. I'm not trained in insight.
I actually am.
Smoke will give Raz guidance.
So
default.
Is anyone proficient in it? Else?
So yeah.
Insight? You might be.
I'm not.
I am.
how do
You
you
are?
conk my metal D4?
By bouncing it against a D10. 15.
That's with okay. 23.
15 probably works out. You are pretty confident. Most of these folk tales are wildly overblown, a lot of false information, a lot of things that in your actual studies you've found don't work.
Depressing.
Any kind of history or maybe even religion check kind of would help maybe.
Roll a religion check.
Cool. Why am I using my custom
With
dice?
advantage, because this would be fairly common knowledge to anyone else.
Okay, that's a 19 plus. So that makes it a 24.
You know, the first thing you need to do is work out exactly what kind of vampire you're actually dealing with, because they're all different.
Oh god.
Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but there's no one easy way to kill a vampire. It depends on what kind it is.
Oh, right.
Do I know what kinds there are?
You've got a rough idea.
List
You
them
can
all.
research them.
Cool. Would, based on their general description of what they encountered earlier, would that be able to narrow down the search a little bit, or?
Yes, if you successfully roll an intelligence check for me.
Okay.
Can I roll one of them, since as I'm
No.
telling you what?
8.
Yeah.
I also have 24 my history.
Why am I using my curse dice? I'm going to use my other curse dice from
23.
From what you've seen, since you've actually seen it, you would think it's one of the 3 options. It would be an Alp, a higher vampire, or a Bruxa.
At least
How-
it's not this set.
Or Bruxa?
Bruxa.
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 I shouldn't have capitalized on that. It looks like
If
it's
you're
now
not
political
sure
party.
how to say it, just ask Smoke. He knows how to pronounce things.
So, narrowing it down from a few of the options we had, it's not an Nosferatu, it's it could potentially be an Alp, a high vampire, if that is, sorry, but you don't pay me enough, or a Bruxa.
We paid you 200 gold. How's that not enough?
Not even close.
Expensive, Professor.
What would be the easiest way to narrow that down further? Like, is there like...
To see it again, probably.
Now, didn't we hear that she was imitating someone down at the docks?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I believe so.
I think that was a flower shop lady.
A florist.
Oh, yes, of course, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's it.
What was her name?
Oh, do I have her name? Let me
I sure hope
see.
so.
Pretty sure it was Petal. Maybe.
Trying to check my notes.
That would be great if that were the case.
Don't think I.
That would be most unfortunate.
Maybe a Daisy.
Unfortunately, not. No.
You know
I
that
don't think I
studies
ever got her
have,
name.
studies have shown that most people do find work that matches their name.
Well, so explain your name, Belvedere.
Oh, most people, mainly people in guilds. You know, Smith, Thatcher.
People who don't have names related to jobs.
Usually runs in the family.
There's a bit of a chicken and egg.
Sorry, I was having a
that.
joke there.
Smoke laughs. Does not put much effort into it.
Shows how you do it.
I rolled a natural one. I appreciate. I'm glad you appreciated it.
Just slowly.
So, we need more information. We can head down to the docks and perhaps ask around. Ideally, look at it.
Scouting would be useful.
Yes.
Yes.
If we can find a victim and look at their corpse, or potentially if they have any living victims, we can learn a lot from them as well. Their method of accreditation.
But if I may, I am a fine charcoal artist. If you obviously know this, I could perhaps draw up a missing sort of like picture or something we could hold up and then show people and say, hey, have you seen the florist lady?
That could work.
Maybe.
I don't know if we necessarily want to draw too much attention to ourselves right away. Probably better off doing this slightly more covertly. After all, she does know what you three look like.
We told which florist she works in, weren't we?
Yeah, you knew it from your childhood.
Yeah.
We
It's
could
like
just
a little flower shop.
we could go there and purchase and.
Absolutely, I could probably do that. Would I know that if vampires usually have true sight or anything?
No, you would once again have to research the vampires.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to know.
Oh,
Right.
I have another thing to throw at you. Overnight and during my time in the grove that I'm dedicating to Eldath, I've become rather okay at locating objects. Perhaps the vampire, do we recall anything she may have had on her person?
She had those robes.
Yeah.
You remember that she disguised herself as well, so you, until the last moment you didn't really know what she looked like at all.
I think perhaps she's not met Clary. Clary could go there, shop perfectly innocently. We could stay nearby with our familiars, keeping an eye on things, just a short distance away.
Absolutely. I'm wary of using any illusion magic just in case, because we don't know what we're going up against, and some things can sometimes see through that. So
Well, perhaps you could do a small illusion. Say, grant yourself slightly elven features. And if that becomes commented on or ears are looked at or something like that, usually
Could also narrow
it's
it
a
down.
good idea, actually.
something that a noble might do.
Assuming, of course, that all three of these don't have that trait.
But certainly, I think it'd be a good idea to know if they do. They can see through illusions. In which case, I think maybe dirty myself up a little bit. Maybe change the blonde hair to brown or something. I'll use disguise self a bit later when we get there.
Well, Smoke walks up to Clary and just hand on the shoulder and says, "Well, here's another idea. I find that I've been to getting my way quite a lot lately. I don't know if this hat has anything to do with it, but maybe you might want to borrow it."
Your voice is very smooth when you wear that hat.
Yeah.
Reassuring.
There's a certain lilt to it.
Yeah.
Very different from how he usually is.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
that's concerning.
just saying. I looked at my shoe. Did I actually find a mirror?
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
nice of you.
I looked at myself and I had to roll for seduction. I was with myself a little bit, so I'm sure people would be just putting it out there. Just saying.
Well, I mean, it can't hurt. It's a rather conspicuous hat, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to give it a try.
Well, you were wearing that hat.
When we met the
So
vampire.
if you put the hat on and then you disguise the hat, and if the hat is noticed, then that
I
answers that
can do
question.
that, yeah.
Hey, 2 birds, 1 stone. I like it.
I can do that, sure.
I
Why
just
not?
really want you to wear that hat.
I think we all want to
Yeah.
Alright, fine.
Well, there's a wisdom check associated with that.
Okay. Or I can just choose to fail that wisdom
Yes.
check.
You can.
Otherwise, you lose the benefits anyway. So
Yeah. What are the benefits of the hat? Said hat?
+3 to
Persuasion.
You get to speak like that.
Persuasion specifically.
Persuasion +3. Alright. Not deception.
isn't there
though.
something about calling someone you don't know stranger as well?
Correct. You must. People that you don't know must be called stranger. People that you do know must be called partner.
Yeah, for the bonus to apply.
Alright.
But I feel like I know everybody, so everyone's a partner to me.
Yeah.
Alright, fine. Give the hat over.
Oh, what now? We got.
No, but
Got to attune.
It's true.
Oh.
it took a little bit for it to kick in with you, I think.
I mean, you attune to it. You'd know how it works.
Well, please take good care, and I have to tune out of it because it'll take me that long to get into Smoke's proper accent. Well, now you please take good care of it. And
Instant.
Smoke, still with a hand on her shoulders, turns to me. You better not drink any of that milk.
Why would I?
Because it's dragon's milk, and it gives you untold benefits. It will just don't do it.
Untold is right.
Don't.
I wasn't planning to in the first place.
I will burn this mansion down if you do.
Ours can burn down for all I care. Plus, I'm sure there must be some insurance money if we get out of that. So.
Shit, you called my bluff.
You should probably make sure God insures the place.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
I would assume it'd be insured by the city, but I'm not
Said it does
certain.
own it now.
I mean, it would be a shame if something unfortunate were to happen to it, but really, I couldn't care less.
I mean, the odds are it'll be burnt down when the city goes to hell.
Oh, absolutely.
Slightly.
I mean, it depends on if the city is actually burned or just transported.
Both. I go with both.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Just make sure you get Demon Army coverage.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Smoke suddenly feels a little bit naked.
So you know the flower vendor would probably be there from basically sun up,
Yeah.
about 5 in the morning. So if you could rest, prepare, and attune by then.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything else you want to do.
I don't think so.
Now I'm proficient in alchemy. Is there anything like potions essentially we can add to like weapons, oils like from Witcher. Let's go straight there.
But we do have that really nice alchemy kit that we still need to set up from the bag of holding.
You think probably, but you'll need to one
It's
research
true,
and
true.
two then brew it.
Yeah.
And you know there's a chance of it not working.
Actually, today while we're researching, don't you also have that book to collect with the knock spell?
Yes, but if I know him, it'll probably be after dinner, after a couple of glasses of wine.
Well, I mean, it's not like we're going out to do anything important until the sun goes down anyway.
Would we know any one of the 3 vampire types that were mentioned if holy water has any effect on either of them?
Because we do have some of that.
Once again, you're probably going to need the research on that because you don't have any vampire fighting experience. But it is a tale, so most people would have heard of it, but you need to work out if it's going to be effective or not.
So, do I remember correctly that you have a friend who has been cursed with Medusa abilities?
Yes.
I mean,
That's why we're looking to get the book fixed.
would they be willing to help us with the vampire?
Rat suddenly remembers about the reality-altering flowers, just like, oh, fuck.
That's actually a very good point.
Are we seriously suggesting we're going to petrify a vampire?
Yes.
Oh.
Well,
I mean, if it works.
That's one way to get around it. Interesting.
And then just shatter the body.
If only we still had Legion, he would have made perfect bait. You can't bite what doesn't have flesh.
Oh, what a shame.
Oh well.
Sounds like an interesting fellow.
Very murdery.
Sounds like an interesting fellow. There's nothing against those who are murder for... At least not for murder's sake, but...
Oh, it was definitely for murder's sake.
Less
That's
interesting then.
without doubt. I threw him at a man with a skull for a face and he cackled.
Ha. Right then. Interesting.
So we should probably check out this flower cellar, and once we know a little bit more, do some proper research.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hopefully I won't. Yeah, actually, just to ensure that I don't die from just scouting out a flower vendor, I'll probably go research throughout the day, just on the 3 potential options that we have. In case for whatever reason we can't narrow it down to one.
So if the professor's gone back to the library, you could assist him there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be nearby.
To start with.
Basically, I also want to see the... not only do I want to help Clary, but if there's problems, I also want to see the vampire again through Paige's eyes.
Yep.
And nose.
Specifically the nose. But I know what vampires smell like.
I mean, you figured to go and buy flowers, it's going to take all of half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of the day.
And also
research.
flowers, so...
has it been 10 minutes yet?
An hour. Well, I mean, at this point, you can skip to next morning when you're going down there.
Yeah,
Unless
let's
you're doing
get
anything
on
else.
next morning.
Yeah. Before we leave, Smoke would like to just pot around the house, so to speak, and just see if you can find any pots. You know, like small pots you put flowers in.
Alright, Link.
You've got mending, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you do find a couple of broken ones.
Yeah. Smoke will mend a couple of them, and then Druid craft a few varieties of flowers, and then hand them
Yeah.
to Clary.
Oh,
So there's
Thank
little
you.
succulent planters with flowers in them.
I'll just put them down like, thank you.
Well, you could take them to the flower shop and it would.
Why would I do that? I'm there to buy flowers.
Like
Therefore, I
these
don't have flowers. Therefore, I need to buy them.
All of a sudden, you start feeling more charismatic.
Look, really, partner, I need to go buy them flowers. And I can't do that if I've already got flowers.
Do you hear that, Smoke? That's what you sound like with the hat on.
Whoa.
The entire time.
Do I?
Not currently, but now she does.
Do I sound any different?
Exactly like he did.
Oh, fuck. That'd be hilarious. I'm sad I can't hear it for myself.
Smoke is seriously considering attempting to take it back at this point.
We should have given it to Kip. His voice wouldn't change.
Oh my god, you got a good point there. That would have been hilarious.
Oh my god.
Although I think he's charismatic enough as it is, to be honest, but that's just me saying that.
I didn't check.
His character sheet.
Yeah, right. He was running through the whole
He
time.
actually, he has the higher charisma than me. He had the highest charisma out of all of us except Bruce, I think. from memory.
He was stacked.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right, so unless you're doing anything else.
No?
No. So the next morning comes, you see the sun rising through the large windows at the front of the manor,
Yeah.
and get ready to set out towards the docks. Heading through the docks, you see, to the docks, through the streets, you see some people setting up trade. Once again, a lot more guards patrolling the streets than usually would be.
Before we go out, I am using disguise self.
Yep.
So I'm just going to go ahead and make the hat not look like this hat and slightly more regular peasant kind, slightly more peasant-y kind of hat.
Stoop hat.
Yeah, stoop hat. Make the strawberry blonde hair more kind of a slightly dirty brown, a little bit of smudge of dirt on my nose, that kind of thing. Slightly rugged up armor, so looking slightly less wealthy.
Looking like one of the farmers from the outskirts of the city that have been pulled in.
Yeah. So like a semi-adventurer from the dock wards, and like that kind of area rather than upper city.
Yeah, cool.
If we're popping around the docks area, is that like nearby where the old hideout is?
The old hideout, where you're going in the docks, is the opposite side of the city, basically.
God damn it.
What other shops would we see setting up?
You'd see most of the basic shops, so you'd see lots of food shops setting up for the day, a lot of bakers baking. You can smell fresh bread and pies being baked. Usually quite cheerful as people walking through. Everyone's quite somber at the moment. People just going about their job because they kind of know they have to. You see, as you get closer to the docks and fish market setting up for the day.
I've also heard that many of the docks have some sort of criminal underworld. If we could get in contact with them, perhaps we might be able to learn of deaths that perhaps law doesn't know about.
I mean, that's a good point.
Perhaps that. Whoops. Well, that might be something for Raz, possibly to investigate.
As long as you don't come back.
For?
I mean, as long as you don't come back like covered in stab wounds again, per usual.
Well,
I promise nothing.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would hazard a guess to say that you have engaged in the most nefarious of activities out of us all.
Actually, I probably believe that'd be me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in like the studded black leather armor with like a fucking gore mark over the throat, just like, and why would you suggest such a thing?
I mean, you certainly look the part at the moment. I won't lie.
I
Be
thought
that as it may. Actually,
you are not a rogue, are you not?
not all rogues are criminals! Shit!
Oh.
How many have you interacted with?
Well, if I...
As you say this, you see someone that's gutting fish kind of look up at you and...
It's true! Most of them are adventurers!
You know you probably shouldn't be just running around talking about being a rogue on the streets.
Right.
I mean, you're an engineer, so you're gonna get noticed either way.
Exactly. I'm shocked that I'm getting looked at from every person just from my attire at this point.
Getting noticed and remembered for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But still.
So who was it the fish merchant? Who was the one that noticed?
There was a fish merchant.
Yeah. Smoke will go up to the fish merchant, introduce himself and say, "Hello, friend. My name is Smoke, and you are..."
You with him.
Yes.
You're not
Fuck off.
I was gonna say, you're not seriously settling a bet over there, are you?
You do not want to cross him.
Fucking...
I'm just trying to work. Would you fuck off?
How does one...
I agree with him!
Well met, sir. Well met.
In the meantime, I'm trying to
Your
keep a
fish
bit of
stinks.
a distance with all of those.
Fair enough, too!
I'm not necessarily with them. Well, obviously so. Alright, I'm gonna go look for that flower cellar.
I've moved my purse onto the insides of my robes.
Yep.
Ooh.
Did you
Good
already
idea.
super conspicuously?
Oh no, it's good before you go out.
Well, as soon as we started talking about robes on the docks, I was like,
Oh, you've only just now remembered they exist.
yes.
My god.
You love
And
that?
then a moment later, I'm like,
That's
ooh,
right.
mage armor.
That turns a few heads.
As well it should.
So yeah, you head down through the docks through the fishmongers. You see some other people setting up leathers and furs, different trades. Some people selling pots and pans and kitchenwares. But you do see a couple of flower sellers, not the right ones. But further down the docks, you do see the one that you remember from your childhood.
There is a cat at your feet.
I pet the cat. Because of course I pet the cat. If there is ever an opportunity to pet the cat, I will pet the cat.
And there's a hawk on your left shoulder. It's
They're both
Surprise!
staring at each other distrustfully.
As well they should.
I don't need you around, Hawk. You're gonna get in the way, or at least be a bit too conspicuous.
I imagine Hawk. I imagine Hawk would probably say something if it could communicate with her. In like squawking Hawk language, please take me. He treats me so bad.
See, here I was thinking he was used to that kind of language.
Look, if you could fly out ahead and maybe keep an eye out, but just not be too conspicuous, that would be great. Thanks, partner.
Yeah, Hawk just raises its little claw and just attempts to do a thumbs up.
I'll find a section of wall to lean against and say, if someone comes up and causes problems, just tap me on the shoulder twice.
I tap him on the shoulder and say that I caused problems with the fishmonger.
Oh, boy.
So it begins.
Like, okay, any new problem.
I'll hang out somewhere between whatever that situation is, whatever that turns out to be, and the professor, so that I can give an accurate telling of events.
Yep.
And then I, use my familiar senses.
Yep. So up ahead you see a building that's built into the large wall of buildings and shops that are there.
Yep.
With a big red and white awning. Underneath a series of flowers set up in a small wooden sign that says Spring Greens.
Cool.
You see it's lit inside with the sunlight that's coming through a little bit. And there's a small old woman pottering around tending to flowers.
Is that the one I recognize?
Yeah, you think it could be? It's been a long time.
Yeah. Alright. I'll just head on up and start just generally perusing the flowers, not approaching her directly, and just generally just kind of looking around, but keeping a slight eye out to just sort of take notice and let Paige do her thing in terms of...
Can I make an Arcana check to try to decipher if this is a vampire, and if so, what kind?
Yeah.
Smoke will just be anonymously, just like casually perusing through like a nearby vendor, but clearly not that interested.
Yep. Picking things up.
Just like I'm not even really looking at them. Whatever it is, I don't even know what I'm playing with.
I got 11, so I got no idea.
Yeah, just through Paige you can smell the faint sense of lavender perfume.
Smell. 21.
It just smells like an old lady's perfume. You see out of the corner garage she's watering some plants inside, then she puts the small red can down and starts pruning a couple of others.
Sort of.
Yeah, I'm gonna see how it goes with just sort of perusing flowers, particularly maybe finding a couple that I like the look of and just keep an eye on them for a little bit and see if she comes past to talk to me, as a general good retail person should.
Yeah, so she spends quite a bit of time tending to some small, they look like shrunken versions of trees in little pots.
Oh, little bonsai trees.
Yes.
Those are cute.
Not very well known in these lands.
Yeah.
She's very meticulously trimming it leaf by leaf. Seems completely absorbed in her work.
I might just wander over and just have a little peer at the bonsai trees. Those are quite curious. Oh, sorry if I bothered you.
Oh no, that's quite all right. I didn't know anyone was here, dear.
Oh, no worries. I just thought those are such curious plants. I've never seen anything like that before.
Oh no, they come from across the sea somewhere.
Oh,
The sailors bring them in.
Fascinating. Well, I was hoping you might be able to help me out with something.
Oh, certainly.
You see, I unfortunately was death in the family, and
Oh, I'm so
looking for
sorry,
some
dear.
flowers for the funeral, just to put on the grave and all that.
White lilies?
That would be wonderful.
Ah,
Thank
yes,
you.
just a moment.
She very slowly shuffles across and moves a couple of big pots of flowers and gets some white lilies out. Goes behind the counter and starts decaying that.
How many did you want, dear?
Just maybe just a small bouquet would be great, thanks.
Half a dozen then?
Yeah, perfect.
She counts it out and starts wrapping it in paper. Very slowly, you see her hand is shaking a bit. She looks a bit arthritic. And she ties it up with some plain rope.
Can I just do a general kind of insight check on her and
Yeah.
see what happens? That would be a character went underneath. 15. That would be 19.
She's pretending to be a little lady. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
You have also noticed she has not stepped into the sunlight.
Right.
You're not 100% sure if it's just because she's been preoccupied inside or if she did actually notice you and she's avoiding it.
Are there any flowers outside as well?
There are, but as you know, they would have been starting to set up before
Yeah.
sunrise.
Stop.
No, I'm just gonna ask.
Actually, while you're doing that, I saw that really nice flower like outside. That one. Can I show you which one it is and add it to the bouquet?
Oh, certainly.
And just come over and find like the cute, pretty flower and add that to the bunch. So she goes outside with no problems.
She sort of pauses at the line of the shadow and then steps outside.
Okay.
Paige is going to stealth into the back room.
Yep.
Nice.
5 plus a cat.
If you
Five
discussed this
plus cat
plan
stats.
earlier, I could have given Paige advantage.
Yeah,
so.
but nah.
I had no plans in or out of character to do this.
Retconning.
9.
9. Yeah, she seems somewhat preoccupied, and you think Paige has slipped through unnoticed.
Mm-hmm.
So she does still step outside.
Yes.
Cool. Grab that, head back in. And complete the transaction.
Yep, she wraps it up.
That'll be 4 coppers, love.
Thank you so much, dear.
Love. And just give her over the 4 coppers.
So sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It happens in these days.
Yes.
There's been a lot of deaths around recently.
Yes, I've heard demons at the gates.
Not just
know about
demons,
that.
though. Vampires.
Vampires? Oh, pish posh.
Inside check. Fuck, no, that's an 8. No, never mind.
She doesn't seem to know anything about it.
Okay, never mind. All good.
I would like to make an investigation check of these back rooms,
Yep.
looking for trapdoors or anything like that. I expect them to make it quick enough to probably get disadvantage or something.
It's a fairly small room as you go out there. A lot of flowers look like they're ready to be cut, some plants growing. Just make it standing 'cause it's not a big room.
9, please.
Please. Why don't you try for like a 20? 20. I'll have a 20.
I rolled 2. That was...
Plus 18.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
I work in retail all day. I get the matter's getting ingrained.
it's fairly dark out the back here. You see a lantern ready to be lit. With Paige's vision, you can see through the darkness, so it just looks like a normal flower shop with some flowers ready to be prepared, some small plants, and there is a small box in there. But you'd think not unusual in a shop.
Yep.
Are there any exits beyond the door to the front of the shop?
There aren't. It seems like it goes in and out.
Paige disappears, reappears at my feet, then walks in the front door.
Yep.
And I'm heading back off, so.
Yep. You see her get back to work on the bonsais.
Mm-hmm. And reunite with the bunch.
You did see her. She looks exactly like the person you originally saw.
What's the verdict, you two?
I don't know. I mean, she hesitated slightly at the door, but not by much. She's playing at old age. She's very good at it, I think. I can't tell.
Well, we don't know exactly what vampire this is, and the ways of killing them that we believe in might not be the right ways. So perhaps some vampires or types of vampires might be able to step into the sunlight, even for but a moment.
That's very true. And also, the other thing is, it's possible that the vampire... I mean, you said the vampire was disguising itself. Could have just taken that woman as an old guise.
So, important question: how loudly are you having this conversation, and where?
I'm
Not
thinking
loudly
like
across
back,
the road.
and like maybe in an alley somewhere, like tucked out of the way.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm having this conversation in the open.
Yeah.
No. After what we were just taught about rogues.
If it is disguise, it's a near perfect disguise, but there was nothing in the back room. There's nothing out of the ordinary. It was at the back room of a shop. Well, there is a lockbox. But that, once again, didn't seem out of the ordinary, and if there's a crafty vampire, it's even unlikely to put something in a lockbox saying, I am a vampire. Or
Perhaps
Or
some
the-
sort of
or-
protective charm?
or they would of the person they were impersonating. But yes, a protective charm, perhaps.
There could be something in there that would be interesting and useful.
Grave soil, perhaps.
Not 100% sure why it'll be useful, but yes, possibly.
Likewise. Perhaps
Detect magic, but oh well.
Perhaps the forest lady is perhaps not a vampire, but perhaps she could be a familiar of sorts. I think that's what they call them.
Thrall.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Perhaps she could be a thrall and maybe connected to the vampire that way.
Professor, are both of those types of creatures undead?
vampires. And
Vampire thralls, yes.
I believe.
I'm dead.
Yes, they are.
There's no way the CR is low enough to be able to destroy it, but we could potentially. Let me check the CR for turn undead.
It's a half.
Just a half.
Half. Even just turn.
What was your check?
18.
You
Oh, assuming it's a knowledge skill.
knowledge? Yeah, it would be. You know, if you've done some study on it, you would know that vampire thralls are not fully undead until they become vampires.
Okay.
Do they count as undead?
Mechanically?
As far as to turn undead, no. There's still too much human blood in them.
Well, okay.
Well, I've heard of some stories of at least relatively new thralls being immune to turn undead due to them not being vampiric enough, or undead enough. So perhaps that is true for Sunlight as well.
Yeah, my only qualm about that is that we're still not 100% sure that this is the creature that we're looking for, right? Like, this is the shop, that is the person, we have no idea if that person was dead. If I remember rightly of paladin abilities, they have an uncanny sense for undead, do they not? This might be a better question for the clerics.
I believe so. I think it would be worth going to some kind of. I mean, we could try and get shiny again.
I'm not sure if they do. I believe their abilities tend towards more creatures from the outer planes and those who are connected to the Shadowfoot. The ability. I rolled really well on my check. It's Fiend, Celestial, and Fey.
Oh, it is Fiend.
Yeah, I can prepare detect evil and good, but I think that's the same on check.
Yeah.
Oh, well, another thing we should perhaps consider that might help us narrow down the type of vampire is investigating any of the deaths already and investigate those sites, and perhaps that might clue us in.
Well, are any of those children that I mean the right name Ruz ranged around?
I mean, I'm sure we could find one.
Like, I would just ask one question quickly. Did she look the same age as the vampire?
Yes.
Okay.
Looked exactly how you saw her.
So yes, perhaps we could look for one of these children, and after all, didn't they come up to us and ask with the information?
Yeah, for a gold piece. I mean, I guess we could try and find it, maybe head back to the woods, our old hideout.
And
Reasonable bet.
And perhaps also like a marketplace of sorts, because if there's one thing that kids like to do, they like to pickpocket.
True.
Could be a place to find one.
Or we could just go to a tavern and ask
It's the
the
second
barkeep.
time I've made a generalization about a group of people.
Are there any guards around? Because
There's a few patrolling.
alright, because we could just go up and ask the guards. Ask the guards.
That was the perfect reversal.
The hat back.
Oh my god.
Or ask the guards.
Certainly.
That's how they're named.
That's a highlight right there.
I'm sure they'd be happy for adventurers to help remove a vampire from the area.
Exactly, that's what I'm
And
thinking.
if we need to
And
investigate
for
a few
said
bodies to do
recommended
that,
claim of this,
that might
So-
garner us some sort of favour. Yeah.
might be worth asking. Asking them. It's a better word, ask.
Go on.
So I mean, it might be worth asking them. Don't forget this.
Perhaps you just ask them.
Something else. So these guards patrol around. Are any with like a corporal or something?
It looks like all the higher ups have been sent up, but there are some basic guards. You'd probably have some people that would experienced guards with rookies, basically.
Also, disguise self wears off after an hour, so.
Now, the question is, should we speak to one of these younger ones who might be full of wild stories, or one of the more experienced ones who might be more disciplined, with tight lips, but no more?
I mean, why did you bother talking after presenting us the first option?
I mean,
Manners?
Ease of access to
Little
information.
about the eyelashes, it should be fine.
See, she's on it. We know exactly what to do.
Plus, you guys look competent enough, especially in that armor.
Definitely don't look at brave over at all. Yeah.
Well, I agree with Professor. I think children are the most noble of creatures. They like money, and they want more of it, so they have no possible reason to lie. And wild stories, you say?
I think we're talking about younger guards, not kids.
Mostly because kids can't be guards.
Yeah.
Well,
I have to wait at least until they're 11.
At least.
well,
And even then, it takes a bit of training.
Yeah.
we didn't.
Not much, but some.
We
I mean,
had
we did some
dreams.
crazy shit when we were 11, but you know,
That's sanctioned, let's face it.
not at all.
I once ran through a field of wheat when I was 11.
We got ambushed by an army of zombies.
So about those guards.
Yeah. Alright, have a look around for guards and see one that looks a little
Doesn't take long.
Yeah.
They're patrolling. If you're looking through the marketplace area, they keep patrolling.
They're around.
Yeah.
They're listening to the conversation. They're just waiting for you.
They're slow and saying there.
At the opening of the alley, just like, fucking took you.
It's like, why is that guy over there got blood around his neck?
Wait, who's the criminal?
Look, you don't want to know what happens in this armor, right? Mostly death.
And sweat.
That's what she said.
And lots of sweat.
So you can see a couple of guards walking down.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
We're working for the Flaming Fist and just wondering, we've heard about vampires around here.
Sounds like nonsense to me.
We are adventurers, and we're getting paid quite well to eliminate a vampire down here by one of the captains of the Flaming Fist. And, well, clink, clink, clink. Perhaps you might be able to tell us any information or where there's been deaths.
There are no reports of vampires here.
Any that haven't been reported?
Insight.
Roll insight with advantage.
I don't think I
Rolling
need to.
insight without advantage, and that's a 19. So roll it again, and that's less.
Oh, sorry, no, Arcana for you.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
I rolled insight and got 19.
Oh, he's not saying something.
24.
He has had some sort of memory modification done to him.
Now, as an
Spell
enchantment,
magic.
I'm gonna let him go. Oh, seems a bit unfortunate.
I'm sorry, what's unfortunate?
Roz, you had a couple of questions. I'm just gonna step just back and message over. It's like his memory's been modified. If you could dispel some sort of magic. I believe I've heard you have that ability.
I'll just give it a little cheeky wink and check what my spell can do.
I'll talk some shit at him about how to potentially get blood out of leather because it's the weird ring of blood around my neck is making people very uncomfortable.
I imagine so. It looks somewhat ill-fitting as well. You probably want to take it and get it tailored.
For sure.
Be more effective that way.
But I mean, you being a guard, you've probably ended up with blood stains on armor before.
I generally soak my leather in salt water. Seems to do a good job. Gets underneath, leave it for a day or so.
Is that a character? Is that accurate?
Probably
I
not.
don't know.
Alright, I'm going to try using the spell magic.
Probably.
I'm going to try and use the spell magic and just come up and just sort of clap him on the shoulder. Well, thanks so much for your advice.
Yeah. Roll a d20, I think it is.
Yeah, so if the spell is a 4th level or higher.
Any memory modification is over 5th level.
Okay.
I think it's 8. Oh,
No, it's 5th.
Yeah,
right.
5th, yeah.
I've seen it done at 8th, but
I think, yeah.
Using my spellcasting ability, so it's a wisdom check. Alright.
So what is the DC then for your enchantment?
Well, it depends on the level of the spell. It's
5th.
10 plus the spell's level.
Okay.
10 plus the spell's level.
Okay, here we go.
True North?
True North. True North.
Natural 20?
It is now!
so okay.
It is now.
Oh wait, seriously?
Yeah,
Oh,
okay, True North used once.
Whew, boy. Speaking of.
Luckily, as you cast the spell, neither of the guards seem to notice that they're talking to Raz.
Look at my blood! Look at my blood! It's across my neck!
Don't look around, my blood. Look at my blood.
Smoke is just starting to juggle.
Look at the blood. Back to my head. Then to the blood.
Yeah, so I find I generally will stake it up, leave it in the ocean, and after it... Oh, I'm sorry, I have to go.
Excuse me.
Yes, make it quick, I've got to leave.
Where to?
To report. Good day.
You can report to us. We're currently investigating the matter.
If you need me to do a persuasion check, feel free.
Yep, roll persuasion.
No, but you get plus.
That's a 3, so that turns into a 17. Plus 9, no, plus 8 now, so
Lots.
24.
Lots.
Wait, what?
He's used to believe you.
'Cause that's after true north, so it gets flipped again.
What are you investigating?
The vampire.
Under whose authority?
Flaming Fist.
Captain Zodge.
Captain Zod.
You have papers then?
Do we have papers?
He handed us something.
He was fighting on the battlefront. We have papers from a previous encounter.
You would have, yeah,
A
the
receipt.
But he was covered in blood and defending the city from devils. And he needed the city, of
Yeah,
course, dealt
please.
with.
Specs it. With me, and he sort of walks off down an alley.
Yep.
Cool.
What exactly do you know?
We know your memory had just been modified.
Yes, so do I.
You're welcome.
What do you
Thank
remember?
you. It's you then.
Yes.
What do you remember?
A spate of murders.
Mm-hmm.
More than one.
Okay.
I've investigated them, but they're not noted.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a woman,
Mm-hmm.
long black hair,
Yeah.
took a child in the night, drained it dry in front of me, and just turned and smiled as I drew my sword, and I turned and walked away.
Did she look like this? Minor illusion.
What did you present?
The minor illusion of her before she left. Like when she changed into a raven-head form and laughed at us and walked off.
Yes, yes, that's the one.
Oh.
Where were the bodies? Were they hidden?
I don't know, I turned and left, as if forced to. I don't remember beyond that.
When was this?
It's happened more than once in the last 2 days.
Similar locations or any kind of pattern to them?
My memory is fuzzy. I remember some of the storefronts, a large building, abandoned, on the eastern side. I'm sorry, that's all I remember. At the time, I just wanted to stop it.
Both the same location each time?
No. Around the same area, between Eastway and Brampton.
Oh.
Well,
Well, it is good
Guess
to
we're
know.
going back home then.
Well, it does you credit that even with your memory modified by such a powerful creature, anytime you saw a child in danger, you just returned.
Well, yes, it is my job. We
A
need to protect the
child.
citizens.
Oh, think about it. Were they children both times?
Yes, but there was also the body of a man behind her the second time. No one's reported it, though.
could you tell if he was dead? Like, you know,
He
dry
was
dead?
very dead, bleeding.
Did the man and child looked unkept, like they possibly were of lower means and station?
Oh, yes, they were near Brampton.
Everybody's of lower means and station there.
Perhaps a slightly odd question, but we've briefly encountered this vampire, which is why we've been tasked to intercept it. And we know that it can take on the form of the local florist. Has she acted strange?
The florist.
We're hoping
You
that...
mean Isabel?
Yes.
You know it's not Isabel.
Not Isabel. Do I know the name of the other florist?
Thalia.
Thalia.
Oh, yes, yes.
The old lady.
Yes.
I don't think so. I don't think a vampire would have any use with an old lady like that. She just tends to her flowers, keeps to herself.
It's a disguise that's an effective one. But,
We will question her.
uh,
Gently. We don't think it's her.
Discreetly, if you can. On the off chance it is.
can I make an Arcana check to see if any of the information, say, predilection for children, but not just, can narrow this list down? Or any questions I could ask him, potentially?
As far as predilection for children, probably not. That's probably a personal preference of the vampiress. Questions you could ask him?
Basically, what are the characteristics of these three vampire types? And what makes them distinct from one another?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything that he would have picked up on that he could tell you that might help.
Just to skip out the middleman telling us everything.
Yeah.
You could ask him if there were any unusual effects when he turned.
So, beyond the effects of the charming and enchantment spell, were there any effects beyond that? Anything visible, auditory, smell?
I vaguely recall as everything stopped, it was like my vision just went. And when I opened my eyes again, I was somewhere else. I thought it was a spell, but I remember now it wasn't. My vision was taken from me.
Well, that is interesting.
So blindness and amnesia.
I think that might be very helpful information. It's not a particularly common trait amongst vampires. I'm trying to determine exactly what sort they are.
Smoke just asked him, are you still suffering from anything else?
Just from the memories now.
Can I look at his neck and see if he's been bitten?
Yeah.
Inspect.
It would be a, with disadvantage, he's still wearing high armor.
I don't need to roll at disadvantage.
Natural one.
Yeah.
Medicine check.
Well, you can see he's wearing high armor. If it was bitten, it would be lower on the neck than his armor
It's
covered.
like, maybe just ask him.
You might want to just to be safe, check your neck.
Why?
In case you got bit.
I'm sure I would have noticed when I'd done my armor this morning.
Not necessarily if your memory's been modified.
Oh, it wasn't from this morning. I remember everything now. It's from the last night's patrol.
Alright.
And once
It's
again...
cured with illusion magic.
Seems unlikely at this point.
True.
I'll say either of you know if any of that can stick for more than a day.
Not only does it seem unlikely, it seems pointless.
Fair point.
Do you take the same patrol every night?
No, we just patrol. Go to reports, investigate, go to
Sounds
the
like,
known areas.
sounds like a tough life.
It pays well, keeps my family fed.
We can discuss the philosophy of how much we pay guards for what they do some other time.
Sure.
I don't know if there's any other information we can gather.
Have I got enough to narrow it down?
You'd think you'd probably get advantage on your investigation rolls when you go to study now.
Is there any basic advice I can give him that might give him an advantage on the next check against modified memory? Or being charmed against his vampire? Probably not.
Don't be there.
Don't see it.
Wear mirrored sunglasses.
Well, at least we know we're gonna have to be careful of getting our minds altered.
And of being blinded.
That too. I mean, I was basically blinded for the entire last dungeon we went through, but you know.
It was pretty dark.
Yeah.
It's okay, I do not require my sight.
Seeing in grayscale got really dull after a while.
Well, if there's nothing else you need, we're going to go and speak to Falia.
Please
There
do.
is-
That.
Yes, there is one more thing.
Yes.
Did she look like this vampire? Look like she have any particular item that she carried on her that's memorable?
He thinks from his like,
Maybe an amulet or a ring, or perhaps an earring.
not even a weapon. Fingers turned to talons, teeth elongated.
Okay, I'm gonna cast locate object and find those creepy things.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh, wait.
What kind of clothes was she wearing?
Long black robes the first time, nothing at all the second.
Nothing?
No.
Clothing optional.
So can you search for a lack of modesty?
I found
that's
it.
good to know.
Myself.
If I could make a suggestion, perhaps report this to your leaders before,
First.
in case she somehow is involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
The more people who know, the more difficult it is to contain through such spells.
I'll alert patrol. They'll report back. I'll go question the woman.
Perhaps
Also,
Oh, before you go, what's your name?
My name? Gendel.
I just, yeah, he can go now. He's not a classmate with him anymore. For my magic casting friends, that,
That's that.
yeah, that spell, that, weaponry that he mentioned, her fingers elongating into claws, is there a spell for that?
well,
Of the second circle, if I remember.
I can use Alter Self. It is an enchantment spell. I'm an expert in such spells. I hope it is, because I took it. So I took every enchantment spell. So.
Yeah.
No, it's transmutation. That's just like my one non-enchantment spell, except Fireball. It's a transmutation spell called Alter Self. Yes, you can create a variety of effects on your body. Personally, I'm considering creating a large, thick collar of bone, if when we go after her. But
Good call.
Yes, you can also use fingers to be claw talons and stuff, but some vampires are known to be shapeshifters. I will add that to my list of potential clues.
I sort of spend the rest of the day researching because I'd at least like to rest up before we take on the vampire.
Well, perhaps we could have a look down these areas and see if there's a clue we can find.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I need to stop off at the Brampton
Boot
hideout.
print.
Guess we're heading back to Brampton then.
Probably not.
That was
boot print.
kind of the plan.
Yeah, I guess so.
As soon as you mentioned the alchemy kit, I was like, oh right, fuck, I didn't bring that.
Wasn't it in the bag of holding?
Well, I mean...
Didn't you pack it up into the bag of holding? It was packed up into the bag of holding. I'm fairly certain.
Not the version I had written down the notes, but if it was, it was. If you remember it being.
So we'll head to there and try to find them.
So you're heading down towards Eastway Brampton, where he
Straight out of
reported to.
Brampton. Into
Yes.
Brampton. Yeah.
Straight into Brampton.
Straight out of Eastway into Brampton. So you follow the ocean front along, past all the docks. As you do see, everyone's basically set up for trade now. A lot of the ships are pulling in and taking off. In the distance, you do see the low lantern, not open for trade yet. As you approach, and you're in Eastway.
Paige, can you sniff out some blood, please?
Smoke will also, given his ability in the wild and with survival, would like to see if he can assist Paige.
Yep.
Also, you do also have Hawk.
I do.
Oh, I'm hoping I can make a perception check, which I have advantage anyway. You'd probably do a survival check on your own.
Yeah, I would. And yeah, of course, Hawk will assist.
Yep.
Well, I didn't.
Guidance.
Huh. It's not going to help.
23 on survival.
I'll take. Oh, did you guide him or me?
You...
Oh.
Do you want to be
Well, both of
to
us.
up the thing to
Guide
DC
yourself. You're
25?
looking for it. Ask Hilda for help.
Oh, how many more low numbers going to roll on these dice?
Well, I touched them, so
Would I roll for Hawk, or would Hawk give like advantage?
I guess Hawk would sort of like, he'd feel the telepathic bond, he'd let you know with some unusual coloration on the cobblestones, you'd go up and investigate it.
Yeah.
With your roll, I don't even know what it is, you find nothing.
Yeah.
Paige does report back lots of blood, but in this area there's lots of fights that break out, even murders on the street.
She found a barrel, like...
So with
Film bodies.
this roll,
Chopped up.
Yep. What's your total roll with guidance?
guidance is D4, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be that's +6. That's pretty good. 24.
24? Yeah, so once again, Hawk directs you to quite a few places. You go up and investigate the blood. A lot of it's fairly old, but you do get to one point where there seems to be an unusual amount of fresher blood, probably from the last 24 hours. But it's been cleaned up, but you do still sense traces of it there.
Yep. Guys, come over here.
Hi.
What is it?
Look, this blood seems to be fresher than other locations.
Actually, with your roll, the story that the guard told you about a child being drained and the father dead behind it matches up quite well to this scene.
I believe this is where the child was attacked. The child that the guard told us about.
Well, I guess we better investigate it.
I will look around if people wish to help.
Yeah, I'll look around.
Can I be assisted by you
Yeah.
and guided?
I like how you're doing that. Yes. You start doing a little.
I started rolling good again. That's
Yay.
handy. 19 plus 26.
So this.
So logically, if the bodies are there and the guard walks back to the main
Doing a
road,
Sherlock.
then potentially that way we can mind palace.
equals MC squared, and then it's.
You'd think the people that were killed have come straight out of the house next to you. It looks like it's occupied. Beyond that, you see that the blood leads. So you're on the outskirts of Eastway. It seems to lead to the northeast,
Oh.
where you lose the trail. So it's heading back towards Brampton a bit. And
Do any of these types of vampires are prohibited from entering a place without an invite?
lesser vampires are.
None of these are those.
No.
These are Alpine Bruxa.
I'm very used to the World of Darkness vampire games. they use different terms. Is this Adventurer, Nosferatu, a Dava? Gangrel, or... I'm blanking.
Arcadian.
What?
Arcadian?
That's the original one. McCann.
Did you pass on the information about
Yes.
where
So-
like the ones that have been killed have come from the house just
Next to us.
Yeah,
Okay,
I did.
and you
So it's
said it
likely
was-
they...
Should we maybe look in the house, see if there was a scuffle? Anything left behind?
Certainly, perhaps with some discretion in case someone was left behind.
I was going to say, I might knock first.
That's a good point.
As far as we know, they're perfectly regular people in there.
Mm-hmm.
Roll for knocking.
I was going to say, it ain't me knocking.
Not at all.
Oh, just a moment.
But Smoke is gonna like stealthily go around to the back.
Yep. You don't really need a roll for it. Someone's inside, you're outside the house. It's quite easy to duck around the back.
Cool.
After a few moments, the door clicks and a smiling woman says, "Oh, hello. What can I do for you?"
Howdy, stranger. We were just wondering if you've heard of a bit of a disturbance recently.
Disturbance? Oh, well, I've heard rumours of demons at the gates. I don't know if I believe all of that.
Mm-hmm. And anything closer than that, say last night, some sort of scuffle that may have happened outside your very door?
Oh, not here. Probably hit the low lantern, but not here.
Insight check.
Yeah, 19 on my counter for her memory.
Yep.
Insight, that'll be 17.
She seems to genuinely believe it. She's definitely had her memory notified.
Yep.
Same again, Professor?
Yes, correct. I think...
I'm sorry?
Well, some memories, though, if returned quickly, would be quite devastating. But
I'm
necessary.
sorry, what can I do to help you?
I only have one more left anyway.
Well, perhaps it would be kinder this way. Look into my eyes, not around my eyes. Look into my eyes, not around my eyes. I try to hypnotise her. Can she make a will save?
Oh my god, yes, I love it.
No, she cannot.
So she's now immobilised, stunned, everything.
The only thing she sees is his eyes.
That's...
Okay. So he seems to have her locked in. I'm just gonna shimmy on past it.
I'll give you an advantage on stealth. just
Please
because
do. I will probably need it as I go searching around the house to see if there's been any evidence of a scuffle. It's probably been cleaned up, but let's find out anyway.
Investigation?
Yes. And is there like a back door or something?
Yeah, there'll be a way to get in. Cool. An open window or something at the back.
Yeah, cool. Smoke
I'll
will
just-
sneak in and investigate as well.
I'll just stay at the front for now.
16.
16?
Oh, can I find evidence of other people that live here? So, like,
Yes.
yeah.
Right, portraits.
If she's only here on her own, but there's like 3 bedrooms.
Oh shit, yeah, it was his kid and husband.
Yes,
Yeah.
it definitely looks like a wedding home of a husband, wife, and a child.
Yep. No evidence of husband or child.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, the
I got
girl,
3.
the woman was
Three.
left alive.
Somewhere in the rear of the house.
Ooh.
Think
You
about
see
it, the woman
a,
was left alive.
Okay. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see a fireplace, and you think that's probably a sign that vampires live here.
Fuck. I just slowly back away from the fireplace.
I'm just going to. Yeah, I'm just going to shuffle on up to this woman and just.
Meanwhile, at the front,
Yeah, right. Like how high is this collar? Can I see her neck?
yeah, she's just wearing a dress, no bites on it.
Yeah, I double check. She's immobilised and visibly dazed, and she's now... That's indefinite until I break eye contact. By me, only my character.
Staring contest.
Okay. But yeah, so obviously a home for more than one person. There is only one person here.
Yep.
Fuck. Basically.
Why did they leave the woman alive?
I don't know. Maybe we could add that to our research notes.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh. Perhaps if they're die. Oh shit.
Hang on a minute.
Perhaps
I
if
should
they.
have checked. Was the child male or female?
You right. You right. Never did. Wow, that would have been bad if I didn't find that.
Yeah.
Woo.
Ooh.
That would have been bad. Anyway,
Smoke
Go,
makes
go,
us-
free card.
yeah, well,
Yes.
Kind of. If you've got enough on it.
Pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Smoke makes his way back around to the front of the house and just observes Professor just staring at this woman.
And her staring straight back.
If Smoke stares at him, is he going to be under the same effect?
No.
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 I'm going to check around the rest of the house to see if there's any.
But
like,
if you walk upside to it now, I just like palm you away. It only cost me my action, so technically I got a bonus action and a movement. If
Cat push.
it's like,
I see.
Smoke.
Luke, no.
I'm gonna head on in with Raz and have a look around.
I'm gonna have a look at like points of entry, like see if any of them have been like obviously jimmied or something.
If there's any blood on there, that kind of thing.
Roll an investigation.
I can do that. 17. More.
No, that's
Damn.
16.
Roll an insight.
Hey, I'm actually
Plus?
natural 20.
oh, nice.
Yeah, no.
25.
You both look around, you can't find anything that's just anything out of the ordinary other than this woman living by herself in a family home for 3, seeming completely oblivious to it. You, with your insight, remember the guard said she can control people with her mind, basically. It would have been quite easy if they opened the door and go, come on then, and they would have walked straight out the front.
Oh.
That's the insight you also remember I was basically implying once I've got her hypnotic gaze, just dispel magic.
You're remembering I can only do this once more.
I'm involved, busy.
Oh, God.
Should I do it?
Oh,
Everybody.
oh, wait a minute. Yeah, so I mean, if she's just.
Otherwise, I'll be out for the day, at least for that.
Look, she's not. It's clear that the vampire isn't just altering mind, like altering memories. She's also completely controlling people.
That's
We're going to
good.
be researching for a day. Your abilities probably will come back.
That's fair. I guess if we spend the rest of the day researching.
Yeah.
I feel awful bringing back those memories, but I think we have to.
The truth, in the long run, is needed,
Alright,
if not kind.
dispel magic. Let's go. I'm
Okay.
gonna have to roll a d20, aren't I?
Yep.
Yes. Roll higher than 15.
18 plus 3, so 21.
That's higher than 15. Yep, still locked in.
So dispelled that magic. Does that also therefore dispel?
Technically, it's an ability. I mean,
So no.
It's an icon
No.
tradition feature, hypnotic
Nice.
gaze. I think I'm just hypnotic.
It's spinning stars on the hat.
It's really handy in class.
Once your facial hair is finally shaped and like matched with your hair is just all done up. Fancy hat.
So once I
Yeah, there's nothing else to find. I'm just gonna shimmy back out of the house so that she doesn't come back for.
can we inject her with some kind of drug?
Druggy flowers.
No, is the short answer.
I don't want to use them.
No. Dragon's milk. God.
I drop.
How about we get her inside?
She just drops to the floor and starts screaming.
Unfortunately, a card doesn't work like that.
Well,
Anybody?
I don't know.
Do you have calm person?
I don't know what we expected.
Calm emotions.
Calm emotions.
Whole person.
She just keeps screaming, and you notice that some people are starting to open the doors and look out of the house now.
Smoke just drops down.
You see a guard patrol much further down, sort of stop and start making their way towards you.
Smoke drops down to his knees and just pats her on the shoulder and says, there, it'll be alright.
She swats at you as she keeps screaming, completely inconsolable at this point.
Have you heard about Eldath?
Small. No.
She casts Fireball.
That's anti-vaxxer level.
I'm walking over to the guard patrol pit and just like I think that woman's going to have a few things to report.
What have you done?
Unmodified her memory of the murder of her husband and child.
They look visibly confused.
As well they should.
We cue a montage of Clay just going around like resting and then dispelling magic on every single person in the entire city.
You see the guards coming up and start trying to talk to the woman. She's screaming, wailing, carrying on, completely ignoring them.
Really needed to calm emotions.
The things that you don't realise you need until you need them.
Yep. Should have thought of that one. Too late to retcon, so.
There's like 20 spells I should have taken today. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's what tomorrow's for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good water walk, so that's not going to have any.
Would a good persuasion check help?
At this point, no.
No. That's a way for her to kind of work through it, I guess.
We can ask them to report what she says to Captain Zodge, and then we can check in with him to figure out what the bloody hell she talked about.
At this point, the guards are just turning to leave and they're sort of carrying her inside.
Yeah.
That works. Tell us what she knows. We're investigating this shit.
Roll a persuasion with disadvantage.
I asked that rather than you.
Yeah, giving it up.
Well, I had
Cancel out the
the wherewithal to shout at them, so.
Cancel. I
can cancel out the disadvantage if I'm helping, so.
Look.
At this point, you cannot.
Well,
Okay.
had a feeling that was going to be the case. -2!
Oh,
Wow, 16!
Not bad.
One of the guys looks kind of surprised when you talk about working with Captain Zodgy. The other one just shakes his head and scowls at you.
Good for him!
these guys are not playing fist, are they?
No, there's a counter.
We have papers to prove.
Well, we're not an official guild yet, right?
We can check in with them later.
Perhaps if the murders are happening around here at night, we can speak to whatever the local tavern is.
I'll be the Lord Lantern, very likely.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, we had free drinks there for a month. Had?
We were supposed to have them for more than that,
Yeah.
but
Like 3 months or something.
Oh yes, that was the one. Grod. No,
Not
Grod got kicked out of. Right. Yes.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
been kicked out of literally
Everywhere.
every.
All of them.
I almost went back into Essex there for a sec.
I mean, look, how different is it?
Rather different.
Perhaps we can check with some people there.
But he's literally been kicked out of every tavern, I think.
Oh, seems accurate.
Seems fitting for his character, yes.
Also, while we're there, we should probably grab some booze for him.
And maybe for that woman.
No, we've done
Yes.
enough of that.
Oh, I think so. A stiff drink
Well,
might loosen up the lips. Can't hurt.
I think that'll happen in time. I don't think we need any further intervention there.
Unless the vampire comes back.
I mean, that's what we're hired to do, so yeah. I guess. Oh, wait, shit.
Well, we can decide this depending on how all the rest of the questions go.
Mm-hmm.
If they're all charmed as well, then it might not go very well.
I can't get rid of any more charms.
No, but as much as she was screaming, that's an important thing we did.
She's gone now, isn't she?
Yes.
The lady that was.
She is,
They
yeah.
took her inside.
Very much. Yep. Actually, Professor, I think you have a thing on you that can help with that situation.
Which situation is that?
The one where she doesn't have any spell slots left.
Oh, do you mean this Pearl of Power? The one I've been attuned to myself?
That's
Yes.
the fucking. That was on me for a reason. So I could throw it at people that were out of spell slots.
I mean, I can double check in the DMG, but
You've officially been kicked out of the house now. Where are you guys?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Low lantern, I think.
Yeah.
The lantern?
Yeah.
So you head to the Low Lantern. It's not too far from here. You head out onto the dock to where the ship is sitting in much better repair thanks to your efforts.
Hey.
The walkway's completely repaired now.
The bridge isn't just broken now.
It is not.
Yay, finally. I'm not just gonna randomly go plunging into the river like
We still might.
You get there, and one of the small glass windows has a closed sign. It's too early in the morning for them to be open. As you know.
what time is it?
At this point, you went to the flower picker at about 6 in the morning. Probably only looking about 8:30 in the morning.
My God, she was open at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that
Most trade sets up like that then.
Aye.
Before they invented the light bulb.
Yeah, you work with the sun.
Unaware?
Perhaps, do you reckon they would be setting up yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
What time does the Low Lantern usually open? It's not a 24/7 establishment for drinking.
Sundown.
No, yeah, it would usually open, well, a bit before sundown, around 5 o'clock.
Okay, what about like we have like out of game like your Dan Murphy's kind of thing. Is there like any like drive walk
Can we do
through
an online shopping thing?
Yeah, is there any like walk through like
Is there a walk shop? Yeah.
bottle-os?
No.
No.
There are alternatives available, such as where I work, which I'm not going to name on stream.
I should have tried. I just didn't prepare Zone of Truth, but
The hospital.
There are inns where you can stay the night where you could go and get alcohol, but something like the Low Lantern is closed.
Where do we have like the proprietor, the innkeep? Do we know if they stay or reside at the Low Lantern or they reside
You would
somewhere
assume so,
else?
unless they're out on business.
Okay.
There's a captain's quarters in there.
Or perhaps through it like we could so would they'd probably be awake by now surely, so maybe we could perhaps
they
we
work
could
until late. Maybe not.
well here's this crazy idea. It might be closed, but perhaps we just knock on the door. They might be just cleaning.
To have my own suggestion used against me, I knock on the door.
Yep. It's quiet for a few minutes, then you hear a strange sort of scratching on the floor. And you hear it. And it opens in about 4.5 foot tall, a small, what looks like a blackbird running a road. Looks like you. Hello?
Hello? My god, it's like a tiny parrot person.
Excuse me, we have a few questions.
Hello?
I know that's more than you can. I know you can say more than that.
Yes, hello?
Technically the truth.
I've heard of, is it Kenku? They can mimic any creature. Can you mimic?
I can mimic any creature.
Can you mimic this woman? I create an image of the vampire.
No.
Oh. It's unfortunate.
Have you heard any rumors about vampires while you've been working here?
Any rumors about vampires? No.
Did you know she sells seashells by the seashore? I can't do what on earth?
She sells seashells by the seashore.
No.
I'm sorry.
Also, that's how I sound. Oh, God.
Accurate. And now everyone.
Now you can have that.
Have you been working here long?
What?
I'm just gonna say some random numbers and times. So, Raz is gonna rattle off like 1 through 10, followed by day through month and year, and allow the Kenku to parrot back whichever combination of number and time frame fits.
I can talk.
Fucking.
It's probably talk to other.
All I heard was that it can mimic people, and I've got no idea.
I worked for the captain. About 3 years.
There we go.
3 years.
Wait, the captain?
The captain.
Dude in charge of this place?
Yes.
Okay, good. Never
Yes.
mind. For some reason, I thought the Kenku was about to get very militaristic on us.
Smoke turns to the Kanku, just like nods with his hat and says, "Howdy, partner. Have you
Howdy.
heard about these deaths happening lately? There's a
Deaths?
vampire on the loose. Not
Vampire? Vampire?
vampire.
No.
Insight.
Insight Arcana, the magic combo.
That's a natural 2.
That bastard knows something.
I take him by the collar. What do you know? What do you know?
Get your hands off me. Let me go.
Smoke just
Oh no.
puts him down.
I've blurred myself. There we go.
Can I roll a history check? Do Kenku like essentially trading or being gifted new things they can mimic?
Roll history.
Probably shouldn't
The
have.
ones I've role played
11.
with before have, but
I mean, probably it helps them, but you'd think since he's been working at a bar for 3 years, he's probably got as much as he needs as far as mimicry.
Trying to think of what my most exotic sound the professor would have heard would be.
Flying crab.
Flying crab. That didn't really make too many noises.
All of them.
I'll have to get back to you.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Neat. You know what? Well, since you don't seem to know anything about any vampire-related deaths recently, I don't think you can. No?
No.
No.
Thank you for your time.
Come again. Thank you.
Do I sound different again?
Back to normal.
We haven't even left yet.
Oh, he didn't let you in. He just opened the door.
Yeah, I figured that.
I would like to mimic like the sound of. I'm trying to think of an exotic animal that the professor would have seen. I don't want it to be from chalk because that's cheesy. Just like some sort of bird from like the mountains of somewhere that I've seen in a zoo.
How good are you at mimicking birds?
With minor illusion, as long as I can remember it.
Quite well. as it
Roll an
turns out.
intelligence check, see how well you remember it.
Well, I mean,
That's
look.
equal to my nature check. 14.
You make a sound that sounds similar to what you remember.
Alright.
It was a duck.
You just hear it's from some tonk, tonk.
Perfect.
I as we cross the bridge back, can I just one moment? I'd like to cast a spell. I cast alarm ritually on the bridge, and I designate that it isn't set off for anyone except that woman because I have seen her and met her.
Which woman? The vampire?
Yeah.
Yep, no worries.
That's a very good idea.
I didn't know you could use it like that. I thought it was just for anyone.
Well, you can set it to exclude people. Technically, unfortunately, one of the advantages of being a professor is you learn a few neat little tricks, such as the not instruction when it comes to magic. But the downside is I have to be within a mile, and still,
I'll say it's.
they have to want to come here.
Yeah.
A mile would basically be anywhere in the city from where.
Yeah, I figured. Here's a question for you, Professor. You seem to be well versed in things of enchantment. The spells that this vampire has access to, they're all of a similar bent, aren't they? They're all trying to charm.
Well, depending on the type of vampire, but some vampires, all vampires have innate abilities of enchantment, but some also have spellcasting abilities on top of that. After all, they are very long-lived, and they did come from a person at one point.
So it would stand to reason, perhaps, therefore, that we should go looking for charms of our own to protect against that sort of magic.
Shame we don't have a bard with us.
Yeah, right.
Shame Bruce isn't here.
Yeah. On the plus side, we do have a How Bazaar.
That is very true.
I mean, there are rings of mind shielding, and perhaps there are things less potent than we can afford.
Oh, I was just thinking, Raz, don't you still know also the alarm spell? Could you perhaps put it on that woman's house? Think about it.
Oh, the one that we've. If they let us back near it, sure.
Yes, I think that might be wise.
You'd think it'd be easy enough to cast it around the perimeter of the house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can pick a 20-foot square opening.
Yeah.
So yeah.
To be clear, when you came around the back, there was no back entrance. You did climb into an open window, so there is only one door to the place that you're aware of.
Sure. Yeah. What I will suggest, since it will be easier for a vampire to move around at night, even if it's not just for keeping them alive, probably cast it closer to sundown.
That makes sense.
Is there a
That
time now?
sounds-
Oh, 24
hours.
Oh, okay.
8 hours or 24 hours.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So closer to sundown, I'll remember to go and cast that.
Well, technically, if we are both, are you able to cast your spells ritually?
No,
Oh, that's.
it didn't bother learning the rituals.
Well, it takes me set up time and movement and about 15 minutes to cast a spell if I'm going to cast it back to back. There's nothing to stop me from creating a net like a fisherman with throw down and pull back and get the fish, sort of around like the area. I cannot distinguish. I would not be able to distinguish them if I made it a mental alarm, but there's nothing to stop me from making an audible alarm. And if we're within 60 feet, I can hear it.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So perhaps a stake out is in order?
No one acknowledged.
I don't wish to be food.
That's physically painful.
Mate,
But
roll
yes.
Constitution saving throw.
No, that'd be a wisdom saving throw, I'd say.
Hey, how fitting for that to be a 1.
How bizarre.
Roll for new DM.
Alright, anyway.
Roll high.
Onward to shopping for avoiding death by mind magic.
Yep, so you're leaving across the bridge to the Low Lantern.
Yeah.
Where are we headed next?
Either
Do we need to head back to the old hideout or just straight to Halbazar?
We're 5 minutes away from the old hideout here if you've got any business there.
I do have some of my belongings there.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I figured there was something there.
Worthwhile.
Yeah, I'll go.
Includes my alchemy kit as well, and my backpack, my bag. So
Perfectly.
it's not nothing particularly fancy, but I'll have
The one we stole from Medusa sure was.
Oh, that's handy because I have lent students my alchemy kit, and well, sometimes you don't get your retort back.
Still kind of annoyed about that. happened like 4 years ago, didn't it?
And 3 years ago.
And 2 years ago.
And just last week.
It was before I decided to join up with you lot.
And broke adventure.
Oh god.
So it's fairly easy for you to head to the hideout. It's been abandoned. No one's taken up residence there. All your gear has been left. It just looks run down. No one's got to scope it out.
Yep.
You're still there, or it's not worth it.
We drained the water tower. That place looks fucked.
Yeah, the bottom level is a bit flooded now.
Ah, makes sense.
Or water damage, the flood's gone.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. I can't remember if there was any stuff that I left there. I don't think there was.
Well, anything you left there is easy enough to pick up. You've got a bag of holding.
Yeah, I was saying, especially since by the time I left, I was bag of holding.
Yep.
Perfect.
So you've retrieved all your belongings.
All whatever stuff we left behind. Onward to Halbersize, I suppose.
Yes, Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
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 So you head through
Yes.
Branson,
Bravo.
up through Eastway, and towards the Heathside, which is heading towards the upper city.
This house is really echoey.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, you get there and you see Har Bazaars, which is open. And you see the gold coins pouring down as Har Bazaar comes up in illusion.
Never got time for that.
So you head towards Har Bazaars, the door's open, and we're going to go to break. So stick around, we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Let's see what happens next. Let's hope.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
David, howdy.
Get your hands out of there!
You ruined my cannon.
There's a time and a place for that, right?
Welcome back, everyone. So, as you left us, we are on our way to Halbazar's Shop of Curiosities.
Indeed.
Opening the door and stepping in.
Indeed.
Greetings and welcome back. What can I do for you all today?
Rings of mind shielding, if you have them.
Something that can protect us from a vampire's enchantment magic. Perhaps slightly more affordable than rings of mind shielding.
What in the bloody hell have you lot got yourselves into?
And I
A lot.
and I would like a straw that goes from my hat to my mouth if you got one.
A what? A straw that goes from your hat to your mouth.
Okay, to explain, to clarify,
What's a straw?
That's a lot of explaining.
Believe it's something you drink through.
a tube.
Oh, of course, of course.
We're looking to siphon liquid from inside this magical hat, which actually stores liquid.
Any of the stable hands should have some hay.
Cool. See you guys then. Crop some more people.
Aye.
Perhaps of more dire reports to the local populace who aren't. We've been tasked with the destruction of a vampire.
Oh, what sort?
We were narrowing it down. We think it's either an Alep, a Bruxa, or a High Vampire.
Oh, goes. I hope not for your sakes.
Well,
Those will be a walk in the park.
it is one of them, so it is for our sakes.
Oh, they might have got it wrong. Keep your paws crossed.
I don't get such things wrong. We've got more evidence as well. We're going to be researching further, but importantly, we need. I'm a bit of an enchantment wizard myself. In fact, I'm a professor.
yes, Professor.
of
I know
enchantment.
you
Yes, yes. We're hoping you have protections against such things. Normally, I'm not as interested in that. Why would you want to defend against being enchanted? I mean, obviously, for
So many
reasons.
So many reasons.
So we're hoping perhaps you'd have something boost our mental fortitude against such things.
You know, so that if we ever run into it, none of us end up stabbing each other in the back.
Or walking away and forgetting that we saw them.
Curious. Can't say I can think of anything off the top of my head that I'd have.
What about the bottom of your head?
None of my head's helping, to be honest with you.
And Smoke walks out and has never returned.
Never seen from again.
Oh, well then.
Who's your new character?
Do you happen to have any rings of mind shielding?
Oh, none of those. None of them. Very rare. Don't see them come very often. Very rare for uncommon items.
Would you perhaps know of anyone who might have such items?
Sometimes the churches keep them. Not usually, but sometimes.
I think it's still worth visiting our old friend Shiny at
Definitely.
this point. How long are the university libraries open for? Are we better off going there first or to the church first?
Oh, there are people who will open them for me. I have a key.
Oh, good.
Well, not a key, but I'm a professor.
You have a key. You have a key. It's
Within 24 hours, I swipe my card. The
So in which case, we can go ahead and wait until later to do that.
Yeah, we can go to a church and enlist the help
Anything
of
new in the
paladins.
store since we last
I mean, it's
were
not name.
perusing?
Oh, lots of new things. Anything you're looking for? I could spend all day telling my inventory.
Please
Better
don't.
off just have a look around.
Very true.
Yeah, let's do
That
that.
finger of death is still there, isn't it?
Still slowly rotating. Tauntingly.
How much was it? It was like something
Like a 5-digit number.
600 gold.
What? That's
With a couple zeros on it.
yeah.
Are there the ingredients? Although this is probably not the right spot, but do I happen to see the ingredients required for one of our many clerics to make holy water?
I mean, holy water is just water that's blessed.
Is it? Cool.
By a high
Oh, we added a bit there at the end there.
I mean, we should have done it when he had taken the flower.
You'd know in the city, most temples for donations will provide you
$10
holy water,
hat
especially if it's for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Killing
think about
vampires is
it.
usually the right reason.
Hats
Most
full of
people
holy
make an
water.
exception.
Holy milk.
Just out of curiosity, Mr. Bazaar,
Yes.
Alright.
would you be interested in the purchasing of vampiric ashes, especially if one of those level of creatures.
Not really something I would sell myself, but I could probably find an alchemist who would buy it.
I know they're quite popular in used quite a fair bit in alchemy. I just thought perhaps you'd have use. Obviously,
they're quite good in
you are.
restorative magic. Apparently they're quite good in restorative magic.
There's that.
Interesting to know.
So what I'm hearing is we have a place to bring the ashes after we have them. You know, after we've proven to Mr. Zodge that we've killed it, of course.
Yes. Very much so. I'd like to look around. Is there anything for less than 200 gold?
You see a coil of rope that says 10,000.
Oh.
All your basic items, trinkets. You can find quite a few trinkets around under 200 gold.
Smoke goes up to the professor. Professor, where did you get all this money from?
Very good.
We earned it.
We did just get paid by the professor. Oh, sorry, by the captain.
That's true. And where is my cup?
I have no idea what your financial agreements with Dogs of M.E.R.C.Y is.
It's currently sitting in the account.
Why was it not just given to me?
I'm not gonna lie, Smoke. I didn't remember to do it.
Actually, no, it's because I advised him not to.
And
Let's be honest, you're not the best with spending money wisely.
well, if you keep purporting a lie, then that lie becomes truth. Maybe if y'all had a little bit of faith in me, I might one day, in the very far future, make a sensible decision.
He does raise a point. If you don't trust people with money to learn from their mistakes, they'll never become good with money.
Have we yet seen Smoke learn from his mistakes, though?
Yes.
When?
Have we?
Since I've met him, he's learnt some rules of society and decorum and discussing with people. Uses my title and my first name, which I've asked for. And I've also seen him interact with the army and heal people. And he's also converted people to Eldath, which, while is not my chosen god, is quite an act of someone who must know something about the ways of the world.
That sounds something like a follower of Eldath might say. Sure you're not having second thoughts, Professor?
None in the
I
slightest.
think that is the most I've ever heard in a positive light about Smoke.
It's the most praise for Smoke I've ever heard.
Really?
Genuinely.
Do you not see the good works that he does?
I mean, yes, but I also have to clean up his mess far too frequently.
Perhaps I have different standards working with students. Sometimes I'm happy they can spell their own name.
That explains so much to start with. But also, like,
Smoke's just done.
here's the weird thing. Listening to you, I can understand. Listening to you about Smoke being more competent than I believe him to be is a pill to swallow, shall we say?
But his god trusts him with magics that are at least as potent as mine.
And I'm baffled by that every day.
Well, surely
I mean,
at some
baffles
point,
nothing
I may
mine.
not be a worshipper of Eldath, but at a certain point you must trust in their wisdom. Or at
Shall
least,
I leave you with it then?
I'm sorry, I didn't see you were hovering. I was over here looking at this overpriced rope. Should be at least, should be 9,000.
At least.
3 gold pieces. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, my glasses slipped slightly.
Made it look like it was a lot.
In fact, I don't normally wear glasses. Whose are these? I know the pair of glasses I randomly have to smoke.
Yeah. Is that? Are there spell scrolls around?
Yeah, it's a finger of death.
And there are some others.
I was gonna say, are there spell scrolls that aren't horrifically
But it's finger
overpriced?
of death.
I know, but it's very pricey.
I know, but it's finger of death.
Are there any first level wizard spells?
Probably. So I can tell you what is in the scroll rack if you like.
Yes, please.
I'm not gonna lie.
There is a scroll of Aura of Life, a scroll of Catapult, a scroll of Cause Fear,
Do you mean a scroll of
Ceremony.
yeet?
No.
Skull ceremony.
Scroll of Chain Lightning, scroll of Charm Person, scroll of Colour Spray, scroll of Prestidigitation, scroll of True Strike, scroll of Witch Bolt. Get Prestidigitation and mess up True. Good on you. Scroll of Word of Radiance and scroll of Zephyr Strike.
Word of Radiance.
What is Word of Radiance? I'll check.
I believe it's a cantrip that sort of is like spams it around
Coming
you.
up on my spell thing.
It's one of the newer ones.
AoE healing?
That's a cantrip.
Yeah.
And it is 1d6 radiant damage.
But is
If it
it,
fails,
So it's-
is it the area around
it's
you though?
worse than sacred
5
flame.
feet.
Oh,
Radiant damage.
radiant damage, you
Yes.
say?
It's
basically
Gonna go back into your other character voice.
Yeah, it's basically sword burst, but with the radiant.
Yeah.
And pray tell, how much would that cost?
The scroll of Word of Radiance?
Yes.
$20 gold pieces.
Oh my god, that's affordable.
Actually, does he have? I mean, he would. 200 gold pieces worth of like wizarding paper for like spell
Magic
write
paper?
down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have a spell book from that person before.
Yep.
I haven't written it down, but I have it.
From the Necromancer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
I know I have 200 gold pieces worth of fancy ink and paper.
Neat.
250. Cut your deal.
Okay. I was going to say it doesn't help me in the slightest, but I'll take it, because if you do it again, it does.
I'll keep buying from him, he will.
Yeah.
Actually, my enchantment spells are half price, so maybe it will help me.
Yeah. I will definitely pick up that word radiance. Well, these are wizard spells, yes, for sure.
Scroll of Radiance is, I think it's a cleric actually.
That also.
Oh, yeah, cleric spell.
Okay, cool. We've got a couple of clerics. That works. I have.
Checking with the scrolls, we can only use them once, right?
Correct.
Yes.
I'm still better off using
Sacred Flame.
Sacred
Yeah, I
Flame,
think
so there's no need for me to take it.
I think it's going to be a case of, while that is a very interesting spell, I think it will be a case of if one of our clerics is surrounded, they might as well turn the undead at that point. Because if that spell is going to help, the undead will be pitiful enough.
Or I just invoke some spirit guardians to help me out.
Oh,
I mean, for adventures of your magnitude, cantrip scrolls probably unnecessary.
true. We are adventurers of magnitude.
Are we?
Apparently.
That's genuinely a first.
Well, most don't survive past the second day of adventuring. They arrive in a small
I know.
town. They ask about the cave or the citadel that's sunken or something, and they walk in and they get killed by goblins. That tends to be how it happens.
Usually. Yeah, I can vouch for that.
The first week of the job is the most deadly.
That's happened a bunch.
So you're saying that this should be a.
We'll just
Is it
avoid
okay?
any of the extra additional trauma Raz has and move on, shall we?
No, absolutely. Please, let's. I'm guessing there's not better scrolls.
Other than the finger of
There's some
death.
first levels. There's a Finger of Death. There's Chain Lightning.
Chain lightning would be great for a later time, but that looks like a 4-digit number of price.
2,560 gold pieces.
That's a 4-digit number.
Jeez.
So
That's
no.
less expensive than I expected.
Chain Lightning.
That's a 6th level spell. What's a spell? It's a 6th level.
thought it was first level. Isn't that what it said?
No,
No.
Chain Lightning.
Chain lightning.
Chain lightning
Those
is
are
big.
only more potent than a lightning bolt spell. You can also ricochet it.
Oh, wow.
I've seen some evocation mages showing off.
Oh, I bet.
The downside
As they
is it isn't such a straight line.
Okay.
So if all your enemies line up nicely, you stick with the lightning bolt. But if they dispute themselves, chain lightning. I saw this one enchantment wizard. He
Here
sorry,
it
not
goes.
enchantment. Evocation wizard. He had these 4 straw W's across the bat training field. Blew them all up. It was really impressive.
Completely useless.
So shall I leave you to it then?
I think so.
point,
I
yes.
think we might be off at this point.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your assistance.
Of course,
Yeah.
don't forget to check back in. My wares change all the time.
Of
Always
course.
trading.
Farewell, Halazar.
Carry it
When you
on,
need
mate.
your equipment, make sure you come back and see me. Give you the best prices in town.
Thank you.
little adjustment.
That's just Brett adjusting his glasses.
Yep, so you head up, and you're heading to Shiny.
Yes, we are.
Is in the Church of Last Hope in Twin Songs, which is outside of the city past the Stony Eyes Gate. The Basilisk Gate, sorry, in Stony Eyes.
Stony Eyes, that's on the Basilisk Gate.
Sure is.
That's how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're reading off a map. I can't even look at you like.
Yeah, it's not my stupid idea.
Yeah, let's do
Wait,
it.
hang on. Oh yeah, the church is outside of the city, isn't there?
Like, quite a way.
Are there any other sort of big all faith churches or anything inside the city? I assume there would be.
Church of Mystery.
Nothing like the Church of Last Hope. There are small churches in the city. The Church of Last Hope is kind of where everyone's put their churches together outside of the city.
Because outside the city, the question is, how many people would still be there, or would they have migrated into the city?
We can ask after him.
There'll always be I can't imagine that every priest would have left, unless the church is burnt down.
Exactly.
Sure.
There'll always
Yeah.
be one willing to stay behind.
There'll be somebody around. They're all. I'm not going to say foolish like that because since we're about to ask them for help, but
They're devoted.
yes, that's a far nicer word for it.
How long was the journey?
To get there, you'd be looking at by foot. Last time it took you about 4 hours. You could
That's
jump on a
pretty good.
boat potentially and go straight to it because it's just next to Worms Crossing. That would probably take you, if
Yes.
you got a boat chartered there, about an hour there, an hour back.
That sounds like less than an 8-hour trip.
Fortunately, our resident sailor isn't with us anymore, but
Well, I remember I was pretty good in
Yes.
front of a ship.
but I'm talking about bars
We all
bartering to get a boat. How much would a boat cost? Yeah.
It would cost for
Like-
each passenger. There and back about 8 gold each.
Oh,
Oh, that's fine.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, ferry barges go up and down the river.
That's
Easy.
quite a lot.
Well, I don't know
Yes,
gold, so I
but-
guess I'll stay here then.
I have no good either. I've used it on much needed
I'll
supplies.
pay for both of you, it's fine.
Oh, I was good.
You could get it for half price if you're willing to wait and negotiate. To get on one straight away and get on one back would cost you 8 gold each.
We're
If
adventurous.
we take gold, we
Yeah.
might as well.
Exactly. It's like, what, 32 gold total?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's go do that.
Yeah, mark off that amount
Yep.
from somebody's equivalent.
So from Habazars you can
Go
head
the
straight down.
accountant, so-
Yeah, that's me.
And you head to the dock past the Low Lantern, where you see barges coming in and out. Quite easily jump on one and start heading down the river.
How high is the boat's railing from the water?
On a barge ship like this, it's probably about 10 feet up. It's over the distance.
I stay in the dead center of the boat, looking around paranoid.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go, are you okay?
I've read enough adventuring stories to know that every time adventurers get on a boat, they're attacked once.
I punch him half-heartedly in the arm. They've been attacked.
Fair.
It's safe from here on out.
Also, I survived a mutiny, you'll be fine.
So making good time, you head down and you get there in about 40 minutes at the docks of Twin Songs.
Perfect. What was that?
That's a impressive. Ow!
The boat pulls in, you see a couple of merchants unloading just a few barrels. This is not their main stop, it's just a stop along the way.
Yeah, sure, we'll hop off and
I'm just gonna do it aside to Raz.
Mm.
When I say survived a mutiny, I mean literally just jumped off the ship, but
Yep, that.
Yep. So you
Forget that happens sometimes.
head off into Twin Songs, which is a small equivalent of a basically Brampton, but a bit nicer. It's not in the city.
Everything's nice and random.
Yeah, it's kind of like the equivalent of a country town just down the road.
Right, got ya.
So you see a few places,
Sounds
a
like
few
Murray
small
Bridge
farms.
Valley.
A bit nicer.
That's it.
A lot nicer.
It's not too bad. Savage. Alright, yeah. And the Orphans church is nearby?
Yeah, so you just head through Twin Songs to the
Yep.
Church of Last Hope.
Cool.
It's about a 5-minute walk from here.
Well, this was almost genuinely the last thing we thought of, so it's kind of fitting.
So as you walk through, you realise the streets are fairly empty.
Makes sense.
And as you head towards the Church of Last Hope, you see a lot of the people are gathered there.
Also kind of makes sense, yeah.
I think if we're going to do some investigations, we should try and keep the volume low. We don't want to
Yes.
panic on people. I mean, to be fair, it's in the city.
I was going to say, yeah, they're outside the
But
city.
even then,
Yeah.
people have relatives, families, all that, which would cause a commotion.
As you step over the road that leads to the Church of Last Hope, you both, Smoke and Clary, feel a strange tingling sensation. The presence of holy magic.
Raz, as usual, feels nothing.
Oh, it feels like coming home.
Unsettling as always, but that's fine.
Smoke, it'll just straight up.
Gotta agree.
Yep, so you see a lot of peasants here now, but there are still a lot of clerics and paladins milling about. Some talking, some preaching sermons.
Do we see Shiny?
Roll an investigation check.
Alright.
Guess I would do that as well.
No.
No, you're not. He looks like.
Actually, can I also see if I can see the man who gave me the compass?
Yeah.
I doubt he's here,
May
but
I roll to see if there's anyone, a paladin or Mistra?
Paladin and Mr. Ashore.
Or cleric?
that would be an unnatural 20.
He's definitely not here.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Hey Steve, my long lost brother. 26.
Monkbank, is that you?
Oh, Sir Stephen.
Yes.
Oh, what brings you out here?
I'm just writing my name down. Give me one.
You know how I forget these things.
So
Now, is that Stephen with a V or Stephen with a PH?
PH.
it's Stephen with a PhD.
There's a...
It's the older brother.
Never lets me forget.
I see you've come from the city.
Yes, we have.
Dangerous times to be travelling.
True, but we are investigating dangerous things. I'm an adventurer nowadays.
Oh, are you sure you're up to it?
Ah, yes.
pretty
Hopefully, but we are hoping for advice. Is there somewhere perhaps more private we can speak?
Well, not around this church anymore. We could probably go to anywhere in the village and find privacy, though.
That might be for the best.
There've been some attacks, but it's been sporadic. And I'm sure I can handle it.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm sure you can.
We're also still looking for Shiny. Shit, what was his name? I remember him as Shiny.
No, I was going to.
Anyway, Belvedere.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes, so... Oh, I've been lost in the crowd. Never mind.
I was going to assist you in finding Shiny.
Oh,
but,
there you go.
yeah.
There's an easy solution to this. I just get into a fight. He steps up and saves me. It happened last time.
So glad we're already gone.
So we just...
No, anyone? All right, I better
Also,
start
do we need a
converting.
high cleric for holy water, potentially?
I am with this man.
Yep.
You say to the oh wait.
Because this is your fault. Other than his armour, what does Sir Stephen look like without his helmet?
Yeah,
Just his face. His
DM
hair.
brain, let's go.
I imagine... let me see what... I imagine he's probably a moon elf.
Enough. Okay.
So he's wearing like heavy armor, but it's like a velvet design. So
Yep.
it's still effective, but a bit more sleeker.
Silver and tinged blue and has the sign of Mistra on the chest plate.
Yes.
His last name isn't Montbank.
So while he does have a weapon and shield, he probably has a few accoutrements. Like he'd probably have like a wand of magic missile that he won't give me, and a few things like that. Like a few more yes, warriors of Mistra tend to have a few more things on those lines on them.
Small bandolier across his chest with various potions.
Probably.
What does his face look like? What colour is his hair? Eyes?
What are his
His hair is short.
And he's short for a moon elf?
Yeah. I happen to know because I got him drunk one time that he's a lot of it was actually lost when a fireball hit his platoon. Had nothing to do with me. I didn't have that spell at the time.
At the time.
And which has been why I've been so wary of casting it. And he's had to trim his hair short, and of course it doesn't regrow because he's an elf. And so he has like sort of almond-shaped eyes, sort of a silvery pool similar to the moon. And apart from that, he has fairly harsh eyes as well.
Piercing?
Piercing, yeah. It's one of these people who look for magic that is being misused, especially people who are trying to take control over the weave and things like that, and smite them repeatedly until it's no longer an issue. I believe, at least in previous editions, Mr. and Paladins, I have actually read about this previously. I've tends to come with like spell magic as a smite.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. Useful.
Yeah. Nobody expects the Mr. Inquisition.
Yes.
So the two of you see Professor Montbank with a tall, slim man wearing silvered armour, slightly glowing blue, but not really glowing, just catching the light. The stars of Mistra printed on the chest plate, embossed with something very finely crafted. He's sort of speaking to Montbank and he surveys the crowd, and you catch his piercing white eyes. And he looks back to you.
I might head on over.
Yes,
I wonder who he's dressed by. Fancy.
a mistake was made and we are trying to rectify it.
A mistake by you.
Yes, as I said, adventurer.
Yes, nothing but mistakes from my experience.
And mine as well.
While cleansing a cult of the Dread Trio.
Oh, good.
unfortunately, we met a kindly old woman, and in interacting with her, we were convinced to let her out.
Go on.
When she reached the exit, she revealed her true form, that of a vampire. Mocked us and left.
Remember how I asked if you were sure you're up to it? This is what I'm talking about. Nothing's ever as it seems.
I mean, in fairness, she convinced the other 4 people that were there as well, so...
But we are now, we've been charged by the city to hunt this down, but also it is a mistake I've made and one I wish to rectify.
Yes, of course.
So we're hoping for not only some advice and potentially holy water and the like, but we're also seeking rings of mind shooting. She's been very potent with and liberal with such a spell, or wasted magic, one might say, on many of the town guards, relatives of victims.
What sort of vampire is it you're hunting?
We've narrowed it down. Can I make a roll now to see if I can narrow it down further?
Yeah.
Probably not with advantage, since I'm just going off the top of my head.
Just a straight roll of intelligence or investigation.
Am I close enough to them? Like,
you'll be making your way through the very crowded room.
Yeah, guidance.
Well, because this is one of my highest scores, it might help, but probably not. 3 plus 1 plus 7, 11.
Oh.
You're not sure.
Take that guidance back.
So we've been able to narrow it down to, I need to go and research properly, but an Alep, a Brooks, or a high vampire. Obviously we need as much protection and as much knowledge as possible.
These are good options, but it's going to dramatically change how you face it depending on which one it is.
Exactly.
Does it?
Of course.
In what way, brave hell?
Well, they're vulnerable to different things, immune to different types of attacks, have different magics at their disposal.
Is there any overlap there that we can avoid?
Don't fight it.
Any overlap of immunities and resistances we can avoid?
Generally, normal weapons don't do a lot to vampires. They are imbued with magic.
Okay.
Not rightfully taken.
Right. I'll use the short sword. Got it.
But yes, do you know of, well, we have a couple of clerics with us, but we need, these two are arriving now.
Greetings.
This is Sir Stephen, a paladin of Mistra. Lady Clary.
Howdy, partners.
Smoke.
Would
Cleric.
you like some milk?
I'm quite alright, thank you.
No?
He's a cleric of Eldath.
No.
She's also a cleric. So we are, we're seeking this out, and I'm about to do significantly more research, but anything you can help us with, supplies for holy water, or holy water itself.
I can give you the holy water, that's no problem, but as for helping beyond that, I really need to know what you're dealing with.
No, so do we.
Yes.
Are there any tells that you might know between the particular vampires that might help us?
I don't really hunt vampires myself.
Would you know anyone in the church that might be a bit more knowledgeable, perhaps?
The professor here, probably.
Oh.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yes, it is. Although, once we're back at the library, I will be able to research it more thoroughly. Vampires, I mean, obviously they can enchant people with but a look, but they're not my area of expertise.
Well, look, I'm here to protect these people. There's more than enough paladins and clerics here to see they're looked after. I'll return with you and aid you.
Thank you.
That would be much appreciated.
So, perhaps we should head to the university to commence research, unless we had anything else to do on the way.
Smoke would like to get at least a couple of healers kits.
Yeah, you'd be able to find some healers kits here. You'd have to probably be pretty persuasive to remove them from the populace that need them.
I got it.
We'll see.
I hope you do.
I'm gonna end up making some other stupid deal just to play some box.
You're gonna get somebody else killed. Like you're either gonna get somebody else killed or you're actually gonna get drafted this time.
Who do you approach?
Anyone who might seem like they might know something about medicine.
You see there are a few clerics wearing green robes, which you know is a medicine robe.
Yep, I just straight up to one of them super confidently and I said, well, howdy, fine sir, madam.
It's a female wood elf with dark hair, dark eyes, and olive skin.
Howdy, stranger.
Oh, hello.
How have you been having a good day?
Oh, it's not so good recently. I'm sure you know why.
Yes. A lot of ills have befallen this city.
And lots of attacks on innocents.
Yes. It's
Keeping us busy.
It's very sad. Lots of danger, and I was just wondering. Look, I'm a cleric. You might have noticed that about me.
Are you wearing anything that gives you away as a cleric?
It's only symbol is tattooed on his forehead.
Yeah,
but he's also got fur under that.
Okay. True.
My shield, which
You see her eyes sort of say, follow of Eldath.
Ah, are you also a follower of Eldath?
Not myself, but a lot of my people are.
Oh,
You're about to.
perhaps your people around here by perchance? By perchance.
Yes, go for it. Roll with it. It's fine.
It's fine, we've had enough word mix-ups with that hat on today.
By perchance, I look around.
No, they're probably back in the forests where I left them to continue my works.
Look, now, I'm a healer, and unfortunately, I've had a hard time finding some healer's kits. Would you happen to know of any?
Oh yes, we have some here for emergencies.
Well, I am currently facing an emergency. I am very hopeful you might also see that. And look, we found a vampire. People are gonna get hurt. Shit's gonna get real. Help me out. I'm just sweating profusely.
She sort of cocks her head and looks at you with a slight look of amusement. She's like, how many do you need?
How many can you spare?
I could probably give you 4. We've got clerics and paladins here. We've got plenty of ability to heal.
Okay. Why, thank you, kind madame. You don't want anything in return?
No, I think we've got this for now.
Well, this is not usually how this goes. I'm feeling a bit weird right now, but is there anything I can do in return?
Oh yes, you're a cleric of Eldath.
I am.
Continue her good works.
I will. And Spoke just walks out of chest puffed out. Finally, like
4 healer's kits.
Do you want the kits?
Well, I thought. Oh shit! I thought I took them, but I'm so forgetful these days.
Let me gather them for you. Wait here.
He's forgetful every day.
She quite lethally moves through the crowd, blending in surprisingly well in bright green robes. After a couple of minutes, she comes back and hands you 4 well-wrapped pouches. Here we go.
I inspect them.
They look like healer's kits.
Okay, cool, good.
Oh my god, you finally have healer's kits. More than one!
I'm so overcome with actually having healer's kits that I almost just drop them all.
Oh, careful with them, there's some glass in there.
It's not poisonous for once.
I think my luck is finally turning. And I just I put them down and I just start praying to Eldath right there.
In the meantime, Cersei's taking you across to a sort of a small hamlet, looks mostly secluded, and just walks you into a house that's empty.
Mm-hmm.
You want to speak away from prying ears?
Do we cover everything?
Yeah, right.
Not.
Oh, is it just about the vampires?
Yes.
Oh, we've got plenty more to worry about than that here.
Yes, the devils.
Yes.
But yes, trying times for us all.
All right. Well, shall we gather your friends? Friends? Is that the right
Adventuring
word?
colleagues. They're becoming friends slowly but surely.
Gather your guild, and we shall return.
Certainly. Yes. Guildmates.
Oh, guildmates!
He's never
Yes, what is it?
Yes, Professor.
Let's.
Professor? Yes.
What is it?
Oh no, not 2.
Yes, Professor.
Oh jeez.
No.
How can we be of assistance?
Oh jeez.
Were you struck with the light of your gods or something? We should head back now.
Agreed. I would rather not stay at this church any longer than I have to. Thank you very much.
I have got what I've wanted from here. Okay, no, stop that. we should probably go.
Ah,
More
you got some
people
healing
might
potions.
die.
Healing
Excellent.
kits.
Yeah,
No potions.
Ah. Good.
Oh, that's what we could have got from Bizarre. Fuck it.
I'll
Very
start
well.
at 5.
Too late now for that one.
Indeed.
And we just need to find a barge headed back now.
Okay. Go. Keep that in the back pocket for later. Yes, back to the barge for another.
Oh, you're going by water.
Quicker.
Yes, I suppose.
We need more. We need as much time to research as possible.
If you want to talk up with the fee.
We want to.
Ah, yes.
I cast a water walk and just walk across.
The barge comes up,
Long
beautiful
way.
top. Visitors from M.E.R.C.Y, they're coming aboard. They do not charge you. No way.
Brilliant.
You can abuse your power as a paladin.
Isn't it amazing what happens when you have holy people around?
I'm beginning to wonder how. I'm beginning to wonder what the requisites of being.
No.
Beginning to wonder what were the requisites.
You
of being.
don't even announce which god you are.
Well, no. I mean, I feel like it'd be at least not really that obvious from the shield because, let's face it, a bit of an obscure god, but I'd rather remove myself from organized religion as much as possible where possible. Thank you very much.
So how does one go about being a paladin?
Don't know, Sir Stephen. How did you find your calling?
By worship of the gods.
Ah.
Finding power through them.
So you didn't just like read a book or something?
I
Nor
read many books.
you didn't just like touch a
Started
big
my life
fancy
as a scholar.
stone.
The paladins of M.E.R.C.Y are some of the most, not some, the most knowledgeable paladins out there. Except, of course, of the blackguards of Vecna, which was smoked frequently.
I see. What I'm hearing is I would have to have devotion to one god.
For them to take you seriously, of course.
I mean, that's the same kind of as a cleric as well.
Ah, double fact.
Although it's more kind of a gift / boon from said deity, but you know.
Well, technically,
Cast, whatever you want to call it.
all of us casters, and we're all casters here, worship Mysteria in our own way. We call upon her anytime we cast a spell, and she answers us.
Even divine magic is often woven through Mystria's weave.
I'm noting that down for later.
Eldath, sorry, Smoke. Shit. Smoke suddenly feels a little bit dirty.
I mean, that is a fair point.
Feeling dirty.
No, that was just weird.
Well, I'm committed to Eldath. I don't want to cheat on her.
Well, she's neutral in such matters. So unless you're trying to destroy the weave, she's more.
He's not. He's not, so we're all aware.
Plus, Eldath. I believe in your case, Eldath would act as an intermediary.
Besides, it's been noted in the past that Mysteria and Eldath have worked together many times. They're on good terms.
Would I know this?
You do now.
He's just told you!
Oh dear.
Oh, well, it looks like we're making good time. I can already see the docks ahead.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
So the barge is making very good time to get back in about half an hour this way. It seems that the tide's pulling it in.
What sort of time is it?
This time it would be probably still about the middle of the day.
Okay.
Oh, that's right, we started super early, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Went flower picking.
Research.
Indeed.
The university should be starting to reach full speed now.
Alright, I guess we're going to a bunch of libraries, I guess.
So you get off at Brampton where the barge stops and make your way through the streets.
Yep.
Anyone you recognize any kids or anything wandering around? Nothing.
Lots of people wandering around,
Nobody's looking for Alistair Finch.
looking for
Alistair Finch.
not that you can find.
along that.
Would there be any like frat-like parties happening?
Probably. You're not invited though. You're not part of the guild.
Smoke wanders up to Belvedere. Belvedere,
Yes, mate.
would you know of any like parties going on? Given that the lantern, like we couldn't get any booze from there, perhaps we could pick up some at a party on the way.
Don't we have more pressing matters at hand?
I believe we do.
This may be easier if just.
Wasn't our quest to get drunk? Are we meant to be doing something else?
No.
Kappa often has parties that last until the next night. So if you find them, you may be able to find that. But no, we
Excuse me. He holds his hand up and you feel a spell cast on you.
No.
Is that better now, friend?
is what?
You recognise the spell as modify memory, dispel magic. He's trying to clear Smoke's head because he thinks he's messed up.
Sorry, no.
No?
He's just like that.
Oh dear.
Yes.
I think
This is generally speaking. This
did
is
I overhear that and realise that you
makes
had dispel magic had been cast?
He wouldn't have said that out loud. You recognise that as dispel magic.
Because I'm pretty sure I'm impervious to modify memory the way Smoke operates.
Modify. I understand
I would take
outside the university campus things are very different, but we often have people within the walls are genius scholars who are often unique.
Also, to clarify as to why he was wondering about getting drunk,
Maybe? I don't know.
the caretaker of the house that we currently reside in, Fables.
is a drunk.
Yeah. Yes. Is a
That
drunk.
sounds like a problem for him, not for us, while we're trying to deal with the evils of the city.
Yes.
So I told him.
Time is knowledge. So head to the bestiary section in the library. Bestiary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you head to the library, they see
the
you
best
as
you
Sir
ever-
Stephen, and don't even ask questions, open the door straight away. You head in and you start researching. Either Tiger starts playing.
Take some montage.
That's correct.
So can I roll with advantage now, please?
Yes.
So is anybody helping?
Yeah, I'll put my hand on his shoulder, cast guidance.
Well, I am both proficient in history and religion, so either of which can help.
Thank you.
Or I can do some work as well on my own in addition to you, so.
Yeah.
I could
So we have high
also locate object if there's a particular book we're looking for.
16. Yeah. 16. Oh, I'm so bad with math involving sevens. 16 plus 7.
23.
23. Thanks.
Yep. You narrow it down. From what you discuss, it takes a couple of hours, but you're pretty certain you're hunting a Bruxer.
Alright, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
The section, this book here, the taxonomy of the Bruxer, will tell us what we need to know.
And if it doesn't, we have some DM smiting to do.
We basically just if it doesn't.
So, what you learn with Sir Stephen's high roll as well to help you out.
Thank you, Sir Stephen. Thank you.
Sir Stephen, and it's Stephen with a PhD.
It's one word. It's like a hyphen. Sir Stephen.
Sir Stephen.
So Stephen.
You find out they're resistant to all non-magical weapons.
No.
Yep.
They have dark vision, they can see the dark.
Yep.
Is that? Do we learn if that is able to see through darkness spell?
You don't learn that. They are an innate spellcaster with ability to modify and read minds.
And more, or
That's all you learn.
yeah.
Okay.
You know that they're very hard to kill because as you damage them, they keep regenerating for the blood of the humans coursing through them.
How do you stop the regeneration? Do we know that? Or can we research that further?
I'll let you roll a history check,
History check?
or an investigation.
Range advantage.
Thank you. That'll be a 21.
You'd think radiant damage would be the best bet.
Radiant,
Oh.
best bet. Nice.
Nice, we got it covered.
You find some old tomes about a vampire hunter hunting these Bruxer. Turns out they killed 3 before they themselves were killed. They worked out that using sealed weapons hurts them more.
Yeah, hey, we got at least 2 of those.
And you've also found out that they're similar to banshees, and they've let out a scream that is very uncomfortable and causes a lot of damage. So it splits your eardrums from inside.
So a silent spell might be useful.
Or even just physical. They used sheep's wool over their ears, which seemed to help them.
Quick.
Yeah, I can prepare that.
Which basically gives you advantage on a save.
Second level spell.
Oh, wait, no, this will be like falling down.
Yeah.
Is there anything to protect against the mind magics?
Yeah, okay.
Like if,
Nothing else mentioned.
if our ears are blocked, I mean, as an enchantment wizard, do I know that if someone walks up to you with their ears blocked, is it like, charm person, do this? Or is it like...
It essentially gives you advantage on the saves. Yeah. Actually, yeah, what you do learn is it's actually not necessarily her voice. Her voice can do it, but also her sight.
Oh, so blindness, deafness.
You know she can control minds with a kiss.
Just avoid that in general. Easy.
And that if you can find a high-level cleric, they might be able to give you the blessings of the divines, which will, as long as it's a good god, you're not sure how it will work, but you know it will help you in some way when fighting.
Is that a specific term I'd know, or is it just like, can I roll a religion to know what that is?
Yep, roll religion.
I'll roll. You have an iron in, so I'll give you advantage.
26.
Essentially, the equivalent in the D&D of a saint, someone who's been verified as connected to the gods, could cast that blessing on you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a thing that happens for a temporary time. Like, it's just you're blessed. It's like super blessed, is it? Or
It's basically like you want to hunt this vampire, may the gods guide you. And then hopefully the gods will guide you. It's a roll.
Ah, so it's kind of like a kind of whatever it's called. It's not communal.
Clary,
Yes.
perhaps you could try that.
I guess. It's unlikely, but I could try.
I'd be very curious to know if you could cast it.
I have to roll a d100.
Trickster? Good god?
Neutral.
Sure is.
Chaotic neutral.
Thought Eldeath might. But never mind.
Eldeath would probably be a better bet if we were trying.
I was going to say, honestly, just give it a go anyway.
Yeah.
And yes, well, vampires are an affront to nature after all.
Yeah, more blessings never hurt anyone.
Oh, I
And
D100
I must have
is
from
to
Vegas.
try and...
safety of travellers is paramount. Yeah.
Alright, can I try it?
Keep in mind you are not high cleric yet, but I will give you a chance.
Oh, that's true.
Well, basically, it's a kind of... What is it? Invoke? I can't remember what this thing is called, but need to roll lower than...
Beg the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, low-
Big God, but... Nah, 51.
Yeah, I was going to say, lower than your level is what you got to roll.
Because I remember one time I got a 3 and I was level 2.
Yep, can I count that as a 0-9?
No, that's not zero.
Won't matter anyway.
62, never mind.
Yeah, you both start praying.
Yeah, I figured it would.
I look a little disappointed when you can't.
Could I have given you advantage? No.
It doesn't really work any disadvantage, I think.
I was going to say, yeah, advantage is what
Why
you
do you
got.
look at disappointment?
That's true.
It would be really handy if we had a powerful enough cleric right here.
I work for a trickster god. If anyone is unlikely to come when I pray, it's probably that. Okay?
Perhaps we should deal with what we can do. Let's get the weapons silvered.
Yes.
Do we have silver?
I reach into the back and shout flail and just sort of like slap them down on the table and say, I got these.
There aren't. All the wizards here would be too busy. Don't worry. I was going to see if we could find one of the transmuters to perhaps do something with that, but put it on a more effective weapon. But
I think the skull flail was quite stylish, actually.
I've seen you.
Transference.
Transmute.
Transference. Could be done. Transfer the properties of one item to the other. One becomes silver, the other becomes whatever your weapon is.
Oh.
Did your best weapon?
Question is, would it also
sharp
lose any
ones?
other magical properties that it possesses during that transference?
Perhaps.
I don't think they're
I'm
magical
no
other
wizard.
than being silver.
In which case, I'm slightly worried
I am.
about silvering my scimitar in case
Oh, yeah.
it loses its
Oh.
magical properties.
Good point, good point.
After all, I still have my spiritual blade and also other things at my disposal, and it's still a magical weapon.
But you do seem to favour sharp weapons, and you seem to be quite effective at hitting vulnerable points with them.
Yeah, he looks at the flails and just goes, yeah, look, I probably wouldn't be great with these.
You'd be flailing about.
Hey-oh.
It's not very effective.
I hold my
Also
hand
not
up
wrong.
for Sir Stephen to high-five me.
He does not.
He looks really confused.
Yep. But yeah, and more than that though, I actually do
Yes.
have a
Professor?
So do you think we've got enough information?
That's probably as much as we're going to find, I think. We know what we're dealing with. We know how to deal with it as best we can.
Excellent.
Certainly won't be easy.
DM question. I don't need to look at the whole spell book, but were there any first level spells that might help me?
I cannot remember. Give me 1 second, I'll put it back in. Morg.
It was on their actual character information.
Okay. That's even worse.
Good luck.
Quick, look at everything.
This is why you have DMs.
This is why I have trust in you, alright?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't like the fact that I just saw. I know what that figure represents.
Wait, what am I doing? I had the page open that tells me what to use.
Oh, if I only had like merchandise, we could spruik at this point.
I know. D&D Beyond, guys.
Check out that loot crate.
Tomorrow night we have our Star Wars game.
Yeah, I was gonna say hashtag not sponsored.
And Monday night we have our Princess Pockets. Thank you, I run that game. Thank you for telling me.
Someone has to remember.
Yeah, well, I have to sit down and reread Anthony's character because I killed them all.
Probably not.
Cool. Thank you for looking. Well, I think we should potentially go and get organised.
Okay.
Also, while we're here, how long have we spent researching?
Good question.
Can I cheat notes off you? Because I was writing about beans.
Oh, that's fine. I've got notes as well.
If you're going to read my handwriting, you can.
Would have taken you 4 hours to get the information you have.
So in which case, it's getting to around the time that we might be able to get that knock spell sorted. Do you
Certainly.
think?
And Low Lantern would be open in the next couple of hours as well.
Perfect.
There's no harm in asking. We're
And perhaps
building away.
we might need to go back to the Old Faith Church to get that High Cleric blessing of the Divines.
You said there were smaller churches in,
With higher clerics in a smaller church.
well, in Baldur's Gate.
There's a chance they're visiting.
Was the gathering of holy people in the Old Faith Church to your, as far as you could see, like all of the powerful ones in the region?
Oh, not all of them, but there were some that would probably be able to commune with the gods. Having said that, it sounds like the gates here have been fortified fairly well too. You might find someone here.
Very true. Especially since we're on a mission for Captain Zoj. He may be able to put us in line with someone else, and then we'll be on a mission for God. Thanks.
Well,
Where's your
technically, we
sunglasses?
are on a mission for the gods because I'm sure they would prefer that their material plane stays material.
There's some material. If it's hell, it'll just be hell.
It depends which God.
Smoke
wouldn't mind.
Smoke goes over to Kai for a second. So, perhaps we might quietly. Perhaps we might need to use the silence on the professor if he keeps these jobs up. Just
No.
saying.
He talks far more sense than you do, Smoke.
Oh, burn.
Most of the time.
So we'll go see this guy whose name I lost in my original set of notes.
Which guy?
The professor with the book, the knock spell.
Oh, that's right. I remember him.
Yep. You go to the tower where they're working on it. Other side.
Yep.
This is the name.
The subtlety.
And you walk in. I tried. And he is sitting down poring over this book, which he now has open.
The note says green screen, knocked out a green screen.
Ow.
That's 20 on attack.
That's amazing.
I've never rolled that 20 in my life.
That was that one.
Kind of.
Now that's extreme highlight right there.
Okay, with Kate, we'll see you guys next week.
Maybe.
Everyone hold your breath.
Oh,
Just understand,
I think the fact is
Who's
that
back there? Oh, you get back there, it's twisted around.
I am so fired.
Untweeps.
he said behind you.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh my god.
The fourth wall's mainly intact. Let's continue.
We repaired it.
Smoke lets out his breath. That's the first.
Reality bled in for a minute there.
Oh,
Blind
this
yourself.
wasn't the ceiling caving in.
What's he doing?
I think he's broken.
He's studying.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's how one studies.
So it is as interesting as we hoped. That's a fish.
Fish. Today's fish is crab like crab. Thank you.
What is it?
Fourth episode.
I go to Jorah's seat, stealthily a symbol of Eldap on his back.
I am gently mocking his studying.
You don't need to roll stuff. He's ignoring you completely. He's completely caught up on what he's doing.
That's why I'm gently mocking him.
I like to look at the page he's observing.
Yep. On it, there seem to be. It's basically a herb guide to lots of different flowers that are none of them recognisable from this plane.
Yep.
He seems to be cross-referencing another book of local.
Are there any flowers that look like the one they gave Smoke before?
Where are we?
Good cat. It's good times.
Probably.
Not on this page.
I just put my hand literally on the page.
Oh, Professor, you're back.
I'm glad to see that the book is as interesting as we
just
hoped.
one minute.
Put my hand back.
Yes.
I'm glad to see the book is as interesting as
Oh,
we
far
hoped.
more so. Far more so.
Go on.
This could be your ticket.
Ticket.
Candlekeep.
I mean, yes, of course. Well, thank you for opening it then.
Yes, of course.
Thank you for your services.
We might be able to learn to reverse petrification with a potion.
Yes. Well,
We have. Do we have any left? I don't think we do.
We gave it all to the to them.
But certainly the recipe's in there, and we can
Recipe's
actually
definitely
satisfy with the fact that it can be successful.
Correct.
they're the Dogs of M.E.R.C.Y.
We're going to retrieve the book
I don't
in
know
the
what
first
that means,
place.
but
We
oh, well, very well done.
Indeed.
Yes, and I'm a cat. But go figure.
Tabaxi.
Oh, isn't it Tabashi?
No. Anyway, this is amazing. Amazing. The things we could do with this.
Yes, I think speaking.
Oh. Have you ever seen one of these? He holds up a page with a very obvious red flower that you have seen before.
Is that a rose?
No, it's from another realm.
Yes, we've seen it.
Sorry, from another realm.
Yes.
How?
Which realm?
The shadow realm, by the looks of it. It's the dark
That explains
coloration.
a lot.
Sort of like a daffodil, but
Sorry.
colours inverse.
Sorry. I'm assuming Shadow Realm is some sort of professor speak for Shadowfell.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Well, it might be linked to the
Anyway,
the
what
shadow
do you need
colour.
from this book?
All of it.
Well, I've got a lot of studying to do.
Is there any way to magically copy books quickly?
Probably.
Would it be? Would,
Professor, have you learnt any in your studies?
I mean, yes, but I don't happen to have that prepared today. Are any transmuters around?
Oh, there'd probably be some.
for the sake of why we procured the book and why we needed it, would it be easier for you to study the flowers and the recipe for reversing petrification if you had access to one or more of said flowers?
Not a scholar. Yes, of course.
I think he's implying the fact that he has some.
You have some?
2.
Why?
Because we retrieved them from the Medusa's lair.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
while we
original
are
owner of the
seeking
book.
knowledge for knowledge's sake, there is also a practical point to this.
We would like you to focus on reversing petrification with a potion.
Oh, that looks quite simple from this.
Uh-huh.
The way to potentially sort of reverse engineer it in a way that it can be created en masse in terms of the potions rather than potentially if you figure out the particular use of the flower in any way to magically recreate that.
Well, this will greatly move ahead the cleric studies. Now circle spells to remove petrification.
Okay. That's also a start. The grand goal of the book, I'm not sure how much it mentions it, is to make Medusa eyes normal eyes.
Stan starts frantically leafing through the pages. Starts getting some diagrams of Medusas that are broken down.
Yeah. The Medusa that we got her from was trying desperately to make it so that her own eyes weren't dangerous to people. That was the grand focus of the book. You could probably call it her magnum opus if she wasn't dead. I probably could do it so anyway.
Yes.
Oh, it would still be called her magnum
Yeah.
opus.
This will take me some time to go through, but it does look as though
How close was she?
it looks as if she was successful in transferring it away from herself.
Yes.
We figured that out. But it was only
skips to the back of the section and quickly look through.
yeah, it was only temporary.
She was solutions to it.
So she could transfer it. I mean, can't we just transfer it to some mayfly or something?
No, it seems to expand rather than move.
Yes.
As we discovered.
Yes, she kept the ability whilst another earned it as
It's
well.
like an infection.
Yep.
One without a cure yet.
Yep. That was the cure she was looking for, yes.
Should consult with the clerics.
Alright. You can hold on to that, but just for both y'all's sake, we need some sort of credit for retrieving that. And if we remember the Medusa's name, possibly also credit her as well, because I still feel bad about her dying.
Of course. Make a note that it was treated by Dogs of M.E.R.C.Y as well as myself.
Oh yes, of course. When it's put into holdings, we will.
And,
Might want to have it back at some point.
well, that was
That too.
part of our arrangement.
Yes. But certainly if it can be copied beforehand.
I'm afraid, and I'm sure you'll understand, Professor, I cannot return this till I'm sure it's safe.
I'm afraid I'll lend you the book. We've had this discussion before.
The knowledge contained in here, I will go up if I have to, I'm afraid.
I guarantee you that none of us have the ability to
Are
use
you-
it nefariously.
Oh, it's not.
Are you
that.
trying to take my ticket to Candlekeep?
I am saying I will put this book in for reclamation for danger if I have to. Give
And
me time to
then,
study it to be sure. If I feel it's safe, I will happily return it.
but if you plan on giving it to the university, I cannot go to Candlekeep, and neither can you.
Oh no, we'll be going to Candlekeep one way or the other.
If it's that important, can you really imagine the higher ups giving it up?
No, so don't make me take it there.
Well, I need it back. I can credit you as well.
It's not about that at this point.
Really?
If it's about transferring
about
a curse.
Scholarly credit?
Yes, but certainly, surely there are even far more knowledgeable scholars and researchers in Candlekeep who can also continue the work.
I like
Yes,
to.
which is why I need to keep it for now.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if he's been charmed?
Yeah.
Because, natural one, he probably has been by the book.
Can I roll insight?
Yeah.
See if I sense anything that's
Oh,
Off about.
because I'm
And what
give myself credit.
will happen to it after it goes off to Candlekeep?
It will be studied and kept.
Its discoveries from safe discoveries from it presumably will be distributed to other journals and books,
It is,
scholarly articles and whatnot.
It is a place of such
yeah, that's fine. I got this.
potent knowledge that those, even from beyond this plane, go there into research.
The greater alchemists would create the formula and make sure it's distributed if it's safe to do so.
Okay.
But those unlearned are not given access to such things. So
Yeah.
a Medusa, for example, could not go in and learn how to transfer their power around out of spite.
That's fair. That's fair.
21 on insight.
Oh,
He just seems genuinely like it's good knowledge he does not want to hand back.
Yeah.
Not until he's sure he knows what it is.
And if you talk about insight, I just, the professor just simply can't understand not wanting scholarly credit for this.
Yeah.
I mean, you assume there'd still be credit for you and him. He's going to not necessarily hand it back to you, though, but still make sure the credit's where credit's due.
It actually, if I may.
Of course.
So this book, very important, but we do have a more pressing issue, and perhaps you can help us with that.
Oh.
And perhaps we can come to some understanding. We are tasked with the destruction of a vampire.
Oh, good.
Do you have any access to any magics that may be able to protect our minds from such thing?
From a vampire. They tend to work on different frequencies. There might be something in the libraries and scrolls.
Fortunately, we checked them fairly well. I was hoping perhaps lend you that for some time, and you might be able to lend us some item.
Anything you can think of?
Well, anything that can protect thoughts or shield from charming effects.
how about a tinfoil hat?
What is tinfoil?
It's like aluminum.
It's
Oh,
it's Brookser. It's a Brookser, if that's helpful to
the
know.
Brooks. Oh, you plan to hunt it?
Yes.
I think you should stay behind one bank.
Oh, he's proved himself quite capable.
It's okay, they do normally stay behind being a fight.
That's not what I mean. Brooks are notoriously hard to kill even for vampires.
Yes, we know.
As we've learned today.
Very intelligent creatures.
Do you know much about where they sleep?
Wherever they want. They're not like the traditional vampire which sleeps in a crypt. They take a flight of fancy, and that is their lives. Not many can stop them.
A flight of fancy, you say?
Oh, live long enough and you get bored of the simple life.
Potentially being a florist, perhaps?
That sounds rather boring.
Now,
Apparently not for this one.
did we come to this guy because he was a transmutation wizard?
I thought we came to
Well,
this guy because he had the book.
No,
No,
we
we
got
had
a
the
knock spell. We were looking for
Oh,
a knock
is
spell.
knock transmutation?
I'm just double check. Because if it's transmutation, it's going to be real handy.
Well, I mean, if he thinks so, I'm going to assume that this is a
Yes,
transmutation.
I'm going to double check. So, actually, are you able to transfer the magical properties, or at least silvered properties of some weapons to another?
Yes, I suppose I could.
And pull out some flails and slap them on the table. Specifically these ones to other things.
I'm in the table.
Thank you.
No. Charisma is 7, my
You
lord.
like to keep things to a certain standard around here, I'm sure you understand.
Oh, I'm sure I do.
And what am I doing exactly?
We would like for you to transfer the properties of the fact that these things are made of silver into some of our other weaponry that we have on us.
You want me to silver your blades?
Yes.
Why not just go to a smith?
Time, money, silver.
Magic is cool.
Alright, well that's fair.
I mean,
I won't be using my magic for the rest of the day, I'll be studying.
Exactly.
I'm sure I could.
Brilliant.
so
What do I want silver? It looks like
his
I've got 2
dagger,
opportunities. Oh, no.
my quarterstaff.
No, not my dagger.
Depends on how much
Interesting transmutation.
silver.
Well, I only need a few.
Silvered to a wood.
I mean, I do have the cap at the bottom for walking. But,
Well, can I get silver crossbow arrows?
Crossbow bolts.
Crossbow bolts?
Probably.
Not that I'd probably actually use it.
I mean, look, you mentioned the fact of it, but I have ammunition for that.
Silver claws. I just go and bring out the vampire sword.
Ah, of course. So I, like any good D&D player, have not been tracking ammunition. I started with 20. I've shot a lot of things.
There's no D&D player ever.
Yeah, exactly.
I tracked my things when I was playing at Archer.
Yeah.
Joke's on you.
Yeah, right. That was a very short amount of time that you did that for.
Yeah, very true. It was a one shot.
But yeah, how many items could you transfer
I think it's
from one weapon?
20 arrows in a quiver? Or 10?
Generally, yeah.
20, yeah.
20.
So that would be 20
Yeah.
arrows, and
Yeah.
a weapon would be 1.
Yeah, I figured.
so probably. Do you have a crossbow?
Probably. It's I've got a hand crossbow.
Crossbow, so I'm unlikely to really use it.
Use it. Yeah.
So if we get
I think guiding bolt.
so if we get 20 bolts, you take 5, and then you get one of your daggers because one
I've
of
got
your rapier.
Yeah, rapier.
Because I got my magic, you have your magical weapon.
I've also
Yeah,
got the
and
Moontouch
I've
short
also
sword
got-
though. The Moontouch short sword is also magical. Technically.
Is it?
I looked it up. I looked it
Doesn't
up.
do magic damage.
Yeah, but it's for the sake
I
of
found out the hard way.
for the sake of physical resistances, it counts as magic damage.
No.
Ah, never mind then.
It's a magic
Scimitar
item that doesn't
speed.
do magic damage.
Right, go. Yeah.
Scimitar of speed, wood or not?
I imagine that would.
Yes.
There's a plus and everything. though.
Yeah, it's plus
Yeah.
2.
It's
yeah.
plus lots, is what it is. Yeah.
Plus 2, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the rapier and some crossbow bolts sounds right. Yeah, a silver rapier now.
That would be much appreciated.
Yes, indeed, of course. Sometimes I forget we're asking for
Very
things
well.
of people.
Alright.
I kind of do that a lot.
He sort of longingly looks at the books for a moment and stands up and opens the drawer and pulls out a piece of white chalk and charcoal. Starts drawing a sigil on a circle he's got made out of stone in the room. Dividing it clearly down the middle with the black and white. He's like, please, the silvered weapons in the white, weapons you wish on the right.
Cool.
I make notes about his choice of transmutation circle. I'm like,
I'll drop them skull first into the white circle, and then the rapier and some crossbow bolts into the other one.
Yep. It's like, okay.
Okay.
Look away. Not gentlemanly to watch a man do his craft.
I'm gonna peek through my fingers.
Make a stealth check.
see, I was driven the book, but I'm looking away and Paige is watching.
22.
Let's see if Passion beats that. Nope. You convince him. Where is Paige watching from? He does know you've got a familiar. If you can do it stealthily, I'll allow it.
Nope, not stealthy in the slightest.
He kneels down and places his right hand in the black charcoal with his thumb winding up and the index finger around the circle and matches it with his left, the white. stops for a minute, takes a deep breath and goes, Professor, don't make me dispel it.
Cat just turns around and starts cleaning herself.
I'm just meditated to the ceiling.
Smoke sees that and Smoke starts doing the same as well.
What flavour?
Then you don't see anything. You hear some strange sounds behind you. It's like, alright, all done. You turn around and see the black and the white have switched places and your weapons are now silver and the other one's dull.
Raz comes back down from the ceiling.
So it was 5 volts?
20.
No, but like, I think, because I'm not
You get 5.
likely. Yeah.
You get 5.
Cool.
I get 15. Because I need them.
Yes.
But unfortunately...
Well, if that is all, I will continue studying this and I want to give it back, Professor. You know I do, but I just need to be sure.
Make me a copy.
I'll make you a copy of everything that isn't dangerous, or I will give it back to you.
Leaving out the super dangerous stuff.
If anything, the super dangerous stuff is probably the most useful and interesting, though.
I agree, but no.
That is reasonable.
We're either getting the book back...
So far, I should be able to give it back to you. I just need to be sure.
Yep.
Yes. But we need to at least know the mechanism of how the Medusa transferred power, if not the research, like the specifics. There is a woman that we need to help.
It's been transferred then?
Yes. Not spread, to use your terminology.
Oh, yes.
That is the whole reason we're so keen for the book to be opened at a time of crisis.
It's best to bring her here.
Okay.
I'll leave that to my friends here who know the woman.
Yeah, we definitely remember her name.
Lauren,
Thank you.
Oh,
didn't even have to look at my
That
name.
was fucking lightning quick.
bring it in.
My god.
We'll bring her here and we will do our best to reverse this.
Of course.
Was
Raz,
Lauren the name of the husband? No, I think it
No,
was.
yeah,
Lauren.
it wasn't. Yes.
I never got the book name.
can I have one crossbow bolt, please?
It was just called husband.
Yeah.
You may have 1 crossbow bolt.
Thank you.
I have 14 now.
May I also have a crossbow bolt?
You may have...
Already had
You may have 5 crossbow bolts, sir.
Oh, that's convenient as I wrote that down.
Alright, well, good luck to you. I do hope to see you again.
Thank you.
We'll be fine.
Do...
As much as one can be called fine when chasing vampires.
And we're already walking away.
So we leave.
You leave with your silvered weapons?
Oh, and my dull flails. Put them back away. Because skull flails are still cool.
Yeah.
They look like they're made of iron now.
That's even cooler.
Right?
If you ever start a band,
Rusty flail.
Yeah, exactly.
Spread infection.
I'll just leave them in seawater for a bit and pull them back out like 3 days later.
Nice.
All the blood will be gone.
Bash people around with them. Be great.
What time would it be roughly? What time
So it didn't take that long, so it'll still be just before 5ish. You figure if you go to Low Lantern, it'll be just opening up when you got there.
when is sundown? Roughly?
Sundown's about 8:30.
So Stephen,
Yes.
sorry, I was about to ask you something, but I realised it's probably not the most feasible. I was going to ask you if you could confirm with any of the clerics at the church if they could bless us. But I realised we probably need to be present for such a thing.
And you will. I could find out if there are any that could do it, though. Perhaps there'll be some time if you've got other things to be doing.
Certainly, there are some churches in the upper city, aren't there?
Oh. No one there would be able to help you anymore. They would be at the gates.
Oh, fair point.
It's just I feel the next few places we need to investigate, we might be wasting your time. At least for the next few hours.
Question, where's Lorian's house? Because that was in...
Just past the Basilisk Gate.
Yeah.
Just past Benio's.
We're going a lot back and forth today.
Yeah. Is it on the way to anything in particular, or is it out of the way?
If you're walking back to the All Faith Church, it'll be right on the way. That's sort of where you went through. It's a little Kalimshan.
Oh, yeah.
Shine, yeah. I remember it.
It's past the Basilisk Gate near Medusa Grove.
It's about 30 to 45 minutes out of the city gate.
Okay.
Well, if we want to get that blessing, it might be a good way to go.
How long will the blessing last, y'all?
Roll a religion check and you're proficient.
No. I'm a cleric.
That's why I'm asking.
You would think so, but you think wrong.
That'll be an 11.
16.
Yeah, 16 would be enough. The blessing would last until the task was done, basically. So if they give you a blessing to hunt the vampire, until the vampire's hunted.
Basically, you're given a holy quest, and it is a specific blessing in order to hunt that vampire down, and therefore it is only useful
For
for that vampire. But the benefit of that is it does not run out.
Oh.
Very nice.
If we hunt that vampire down in 100 years, well, it may be good. I don't know if we will be.
Interesting. Okay.
Look at the Stephen Prison Company excluded.
Spoke is just picturing himself as like 100 years old.
Some grey whiskers.
Yeah.
What is just out of character? What is the lifespan of Tabaxi?
Oh god, probably not very long.
Well, maybe not this one.
Yeah.
I think it's long.
I'm gonna roll a D100.
Till the end of next episode.
Most things are long that aren't human live longer than humans.
Except for Aarakocra.
Aarakocra, Dragonborn,
Orcs.
half orcs, yeah.
So you start heading out of the university. Are you heading towards Basilisk Gate or?
But the Basilisk Gates are like 4 hours walk or something, isn't it?
Oh, from here, no.
Okay.
You're on the opposite. It would probably be about an hour to get there.
Yeah.
Low Latin would be about the same, just in the opposite direction.
Probably better to go to the lantern later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you figure you'd probably, if you can
Because
get
we'll
there,
go to the lowlands on the way back, basically.
yeah,
That's it.
circle route.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm middle aged.
So as you leave, Stephen says, "Oh well, find you when I have the information we need. Good luck
Thank you
on
very much.
your journey,
You too. Mr. Guide.
Mr. Guide."
Mr. Guide.
Turns and walks off. You see a kid running up the street. Who's taken over?
Kind of me. But actually, no, last time it was, well, the kid came up to me last time.
Yeah, basically, if they're looking for Alana, her. If they're looking for Alistair, I think me.
The kid?
Don't
Or
know.
just generally like us three that
Yeah,
are original.
We were that, like, if this is the kids thing, it was Professor and I was backing up Professor when we were talking about seeking out
The professor suggested it, but he didn't plan on doing it himself.
No, but as in who the kids will be seeking out.
Who Rue's handed it over to, basically.
Yeah, just like
Generally,
any of the
Dogs
three
of
of us.
They
Yeah.
know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
They run up, look at you, look at you, look at you. See a big fluffy cat run up and pull on your paw. Come down here. And then they just whisper, "The old playhouse in East Brampton."
the old playhouse.
What happened to the old
Puts a
playhouse?
gold point.
Thank you.
Is that I
What happened
got
in the
from
old
someone else's
playhouse?
And they disappeared down.
Oh, they're all young.
You had. I'll say you had something. You had some amount of money.
Didn't. Yes. No, it's just remembering something someone said about one of the abandoned shops or something down there.
Oh,
Playhouse
yeah,
with
the
cows.
guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guard said something about an abandoned building. Well,
Perfect.
ladies and gentlemen, we have a lair.
We do. We do.
Potentially.
Basilisk Gate.
Yes.
So you all start heading along the northern wall towards the Basilisk Gate. As you get there, you see once again the crowd has formed. Lots of guards at the door. People are turning around and walking away.
So was this the same gate where the med tent and all that stuff was?
No,
So that was the
No, that's the other one.
Oh,
Black Dragon Gate.
Oh, that's right.
This is one where you first went to try and find Zodge, and he'd moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we see any of the same guards that let us through?
Yes.
Perfect.
I believe that was the guard from last time.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes. Mind doing the honours, Professor?
Nice. So walk up to him, nod, and gesture to him.
Professor. How did you go with the captain?
Excellent, we found him. We have more business to attend now.
Excellent. Well, good luck with it.
Thank you.
You're not going through, are you?
Of course.
Where's your protective escort?
Hello.
Eileen, have the walls been breached?
Not yet, but there's a tax like nothing else in the outer city.
No, we must be quick then. I'm sure the guards have better places to be than escorting us around.
Nods and the gates open just enough for you to duck under, but be careful out there.
Oh, we will.
Yeah, Smoke takes off the hat and then crawls through.
The gate closes behind you. There are no guards on the outside now. They've all retreated, and you see a lot of the local houses are burnt to the ground. You see blood splashed across the ground everywhere. It looks like there's been a ferocious battle here somewhere recently.
Oh.
Well, let's head back to where Lorraine was and see if the house is still
Little town
standing. I
town?
mean, I
Yep.
presume if someone's going to fare well in a battle, it would be a Medusa.
The juicer-eyed person? Yeah, very likely.
Well, all she has to do is look at them and they turn with it.
Yes.
And maybe get able to get some new statuary.
That's not.
In fact, the demonologist would I find fascinating.
Cease!
I mean, to be fair, it would be quite good
Silence.
for the academically curious, but...
Well, yes, I mean, perfectly preserved remains.
However, transporting it might be another issue. I mean, I guess we could break it up, put it in bag holding, and then mend it.
No.
But it'd probably be too heavy.
Mending cannot affect something that large.
What a shame.
We're not doing this. This isn't happening.
I know.
We're not taking
It
a
was a
statue.
theoretical academic discussion.
We're not taking a statue of a devil.
What a
Unless it's an imp. An imp we can take.
Well, we have a live imp, so there's no real point.
Oh yes, that's true. I forgot about that.
So did I. Cheers for the reminder.
You have a live
You
imp in
got
the
that
bag and you
in
forgot?
Yes,
I mean,
we
Have you got
I
that in your
was
list?
I do now.
So you start heading through Stony Eyes. It's fairly well burnt down. It's been completely abandoned. Whoever lived here has obviously moved on. You get to the edge of where the stables were. You see them burnt to the ground as well. And you see a couple of horses walking around, sniffing at the ground, chewing on some tufts of grass.
As I do.
Looks like they've been abandoned as well.
Are they saddled and stuff?
Not just from the stables.
So what I'm hearing is free horses.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Yes.
Oh God.
Smoke flexes and muscles and
Yes.
steps straight up.
Alright, and that's where we're going to leave it for.
Free horses, ladies and gentlemen.
So don't forget to tune in next week to find out what happens to free horses and what happens up ahead in Little Cullen.
Now, 3 horses or 3 horses?
2 free horses.
The most inconvenient number.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Smoke can at least come up to it.
I can talk to the animals for the first time in ages.
Thank you.
Will it be
For,
helpful?
Probably not.
I want it to be.
Who cares? It'll still be fun anyway.
thanks for joining us tonight. We have Star Wars tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Age of the Empire tomorrow.
Age of the Empires.
Uh-huh.
The beasts have got their ship stuck in mud, hiding from troops of the Inquisition.
How?
They landed in mud and then used thrusters to go down.
Oh no.
He was shot more than slightly. And they were being chased by the Inquisition.
Okay.
No excuse.
Yeah, considering how they were investigating that, no excuse. And Monday we go back to Prince of the Apocalypse, and I have to read that character class. What is it? One starts with A. I've forgotten the name of it.
Artificer?
Artificer. I hear it's complicated, but
Yep. It
this
is.
is what I get for killing off Anthony's characters.
Yep.
Again.
Correct.
Again.
Wait, really? Died again?
What was it last week's episode? Find out just.
I was like, was it the same lich?
Nope.
Was it a lich?
He was no. He was very brave.
Also very stupid.
Oh, the two go hand in hand.
You have to watch to find out though.
It's true.
I will say this: it involved jumping onto a dragon with a spear. Now, this isn't exact details, but it didn't involve that.
It involved that. Definitely
involved
not how it happened. Alright, Doug's going to come back here.
But it is worth saying he did drown.
Alright, anyway, next Wednesday as well, we'll be back, so make sure you don't forget what happened this week so you know what's going on next week. And there's a
Tuesday's
Tuesday
good.
game.
Yeah, Tuesday Goose Game. So probably
Geese.
Geese.
Indeed. Who got
Isn't gay D&D,
Oh,
but it is geese.
Geese and Tabletop Games.
So it is worth checking our Facebook page. There is a very detailed event there.
Is it?
Yes.
Neat.
I think it's based on the kind of similar system that they use in Dragon Age.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I love that
This
system.
name I forgot the name of. The system I forgot the name of, which is called.
Nope, I ain't got it.
Oh, you love it, but.
Yep, correct.
Love it, but I don't need to know yet.
Yeah,
Yep.
tune in
That's it.
Tuesday to find out what the name is.
And tune in next Wednesday to find out the whole other screen I had set up that we didn't even get to tonight.
Some of the other street screens there.
Alright, thanks guys, we'll see you all soon.
See ya.